Good time zone, Gen Friends, and welcome to CrossGen Friends, your gaming, pop culture, and tech podcast with a multi-generational point of view. I am Joe LaRussa, and with me, unlike always, and making his very first appearance on CrossGen Friends, is Lockmort. Lockmort, how are you today?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I'm doing wonderful. That's a beautiful long introduction. Like your podcast is called CrossGen Friends.
Yes, CrossGen Friends.
I
And
like
our
that.
audience, as small as it may be, we call them the Gen Friends because why not?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here. I've known you for a while. Well, we've known each other for a while because you've been in my chat. But then I remembered earlier because I was talking
Yeah,
with Brad because your name sounded so familiar, and of course, LaRussa from Karate Kid, LaRusso. So every time I see your name pop up, I'm like, that's a Karate Kid.
you
So
do,
in
yeah.
so in my mind, I was at this picture of you being Daniel LaRusso, but then I talked to Brad earlier, and he was like, "No, that's the guy. He was on Summon Sign with Alex." I'm like, "Oh, of course." So I completely know who you are, which is awesome.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it. And for the audience, let's introduce them to who you are. So you are a member of the Last Stand Media crew, I would say. I think you're on there enough to say you're an official member there. You rose to prominence making very funny edits for them. I have to say the Lockmort edits are always so much fun.
Uh,
You haven't done them in a while though because they were a lot of work, weren't they?
they are a lot of work, but it's funny that you say that because I'm working on one right now. That's probably going to
Are you?
release on Monday. I don't know when this is going up, but the edit will go
Monday.
up.
We go up Monday at 10 is
Oh,
when this goes live. Yeah.
okay, cool. Well, the edit is probably going to go up. I want to say Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, whenever I'm done with
Okay.
it. Because of course, a lot of stuff happened this week that
Oh
validated the
yeah.
edit, which
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
talk
get into
about.
some of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, thank you so much. That's a very nice introduction, of course. Yeah, I'm very lucky to work with the guys at Last Stand. I've been working there for like 5 years now, so I'm kind of rolled into it as an editor, and then slowly they put me on shows, and now I'm not a full-time member though. I'm still like considered like a what do you call it, like a freelancer there.
Yeah, freelancer, yeah.
But Dustin is about to leave on paternity leave in two
Hmm.
weeks, and then I'll get to be the producer for 3 months. So prepare for
You'll
a
get
lot
an
of
official title.
exactly. So prepare for a lot of everything's going to change. It's going to get way worse. But no. But I'm very thankful for them. I love them, of course. They're my great
Yeah.
friends. Talk with them every day. So they're awesome. I love hanging out with those guys, and I'm so happy to have people like you in the community too. Because the Last Stand community is wonderful. They're all great people. Well, 99% of them are great people. So it's
Yeah.
always fun to hang out with them, like people like you. That's always great.
Yeah, they really are. I love the whole crew. I mean, I did I got to meet pretty much all of them at the meet and greet that they did in the New York show. I flew up from I
Oh,
was
nice.
in Florida. I flew up from Florida to New York City to go there and meet everyone, which is really cool. And
Mm,
I've gotten to know them all separately. Not all, but I've gotten to know some of them separately. Cog and I are friends, and Brad and I, was on
nice.
Summit Sign and whatnot, which was really cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. You worked your way in with like hard work and edits and whatnot. I just sent Brad an email one day, and I was like, "Hey, Brad, I think it'd be fun to be on Summon Sign. Here's what I'd like to talk about." And he was like, "Yeah, come on, man."
Well, that's a good way to do it. I feel like that you did
Yeah,
it the right way. I did it the stupid because I never took it seriously. Like I had a normal job and I did other stuff and I just made those edits for fun. Like I didn't care
yeah,
about anything of that. Like when I tell
yeah.
my friends, when my friends here in Belgium, when they ask me like, "What do you do all day?" It's like, "Oh, I'm on this American podcast. They're cool people." Like what about video games? Like what do you do? Get a job, like get a real job. Like, well, it is
Yeah,
a real job. So, but it's yeah,
yeah.
it's always funny how people look at it because you also have a real job, I
I
presume. Right?
do.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
do.
good.
Unfortunately, if I didn't need it, I wouldn't have it. Let me tell you.
I think you're smart. I think that's a good way to do it though, because people always think
Yeah.
it's like glamorous and you make a lot of money online, but that's not true. Like
Yeah,
what?
I mean, it's work. Like the edits take time, and our
Yeah.
edit's very simple, and we have a podcast software that we use that it's all done up like on their cloud, and we just do it in the web browser and whatnot. But still, it takes time, and it's work. My co-host,
Yeah.
who everyone knows is not here this week, is he's been doing the edits the last month because I was out of town and I didn't have a computer even capable of using a browser at the time to
Mm.
to make the edits, and he's like, "I'm really looking forward to you being back, man." And I was like, "Yeah, I know for sure. I'm happy to take the edits for a while here. I appreciate the work that he did on it."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Editing can be hell, especially
yeah.
podcasts are some. If you edit for a while, podcasts are okay, right? That's just sync,
Hmm.
export. You're basically done. But like
Yeah.
video editing for like video games can be hell, especially if
Yeah.
you have like deep RPGs with a lot of mechanics, and especially if you haven't played the games. Like I remember,
Hmm.
I worked for Maddie for like 3 or 4 years on Retro Rebound before I said, okay, now I want to go out on my own.
Hmm.
Um, and I had to edit like JRPGs that I never played, of course, but you get like 40-hour playthroughs and like, here you
Yeah.
go. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
So when you're an editor, those are like the hard project, but they're also very fulfilling to do. So I get what you're saying. Like it's probably very annoying if you have to do this every week and then synchronize
Yeah.
everything yourself and upload it. And you're uploading on YouTube. Do you also upload on audio services
We
or?
do. We upload to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We have both of them, and the Podcastle's own service. They were sorry, it used to be called Podcastle. The service we use is now called Async. Is their rebrand? Yeah, we upload all three places like that. Yeah,
That's very cool. That's very. Do you
we
like doing
try.
it? That's the most important thing, of course. Do you like
I
doing it?
like doing the podcasting, not the uploading, but the podcasting is fun for sure. It's
Yeah,
all comes with the territory though, and it's nice to as you know, I worked with Alex Segovia on his X Button show for 6 months or a year, something like that, and that was
yeah,
fun. But this is just special because it's like it was my idea to do this thing, and there's a level of ownership when someone's not just like bringing you into the fold on it. You feel
sure.
like this is my baby or mine and Byron's baby, like
Yeah,
that
that's
sort of thing.
it's very important to have something on your own. I completely understand that. I completely understand that. I can
Yeah,
imagine that sometimes it's like stressful and hard if you're doing something on your own, right? That you have to take everything into account, that you want to grow, of course, especially when you're new,
yeah.
you're going to go. But then it's good to have like a happy place, right? A happy
Hmm.
place to yourself. So, well, like last week, what was your happy place in the past week?
That is a wonderful segue, sir, into our happy place segment. Thank you. My happy place last week was actually just this new restaurant that I tried. So, have you ever heard of a mochi donut?
No, but it sounds wonderful. What is that?
Do you know what mochi is?
Is that that's not the tea, right? Is that the tea
No,
stuff?
that's
Oh,
matcha, is what you're probably thinking of. Mochi
oh,
is like it's like a rice substance, the Japanese rice-like substance. It's made from rice. So you have people that
oh.
make like mochi ice cream is a very common thing where it's a mochi thing stuffed with ice cream. It's like
Mm,
a rice ball.
okay.
And a mochi donut is a mochi made donut. So there's a place that used to be called Mochi Nut very close to where I live, and they
Mhm.
underwent renovations recently, and I didn't know that they had been changing what they were. So I went in there thinking it was just going to be like a mochi nut, and it turned out they completely overhauled their place, and now they have like real food and also mochi nuts, but they have like a
Oh.
whole poke bowl, hibachi grilling, like all these delicious
Mm.
things, and I was like, this is way different than what I was expecting it to be.
Mm.
So I went in and I chatted with the owner or the yeah one of the owners there. She was working the register, and I was like, so you are you still the same place? Like, what is it? She goes, oh, we're partners with the old owner, and we overhauled the restaurant, and now we're going to do like real food in addition to just the sweets and stuff that were being sold before. And I
Mm.
happened to be looking for food, so I said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. And I have to
Awesome.
say, this was a really, really good bowl. I got a brown rice bowl with hibachi grilled chicken and
Mm.
some vegetables and stuff on top and teriyaki sauce. And it
Oh.
was it was really good. I was really impressed. I couldn't believe it because I'd been in the mochi nut before and I was like, oh, this is okay, this is cool. But when I saw their menu and they had completely changed, I was like, this will be fun. Let's give it a shot. So I was really happy to have a new restaurant that's really close by, and they have boba tea, which is really nice. If you're a
Uh,
milk tea drinker.
What? It's funny because everything you said so far sounds delicious, and we have none of it over here. So
Oh,
that's,
I'm so sorry.
well, we do. I do know what boba tea is because for
Yeah.
American TV shows, and we probably have it somewhere in the city, but not where I live right
Hmm.
now. But it
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah. Sorry if you see someone walking by. That's my fiance. She just came home.
Oh,
She's
okay.
she's
So
working.
okay, you're not getting burglarized. Okay, that's good.
No, we're not
That's
getting burglarized. There's no cute little girl walking by gonna burglarize me. Um, Good use of the word burglarize, though, because a lot of people would say rob, but to rob, you actually have to have a threat of force. Burglary is the breaking and entering in of a home with the intent to steal.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew that. So no, it was
Yeah.
just it was an accident. But okay, well, good, good. Well, I did it on purpose.
It
Um,
was great. That was great. Now we got a little bit of a legal education lesson in the episode. I'm sure that'll make everyone super happy.
that's fine. Yeah, you're like Hogue. You're a lawyer, right? Or
I am.
I never know
Yeah.
if that's like a disrespectful thing to say. Lawyer, is that like the right term? Is that okay to say? Yeah.
Yeah. Lawyer, attorney,
Mm.
counsel, any of those are accurate and they're not offensive at all. They're correct. Yeah.
So how do I picture this? Are you like a because I only know attorneys or lawyers from TV shows again, of course, or like
Yeah.
divorce lawyers. But what do you
Yeah.
what do you like? Are you like a defense lawyer or what? How do
No,
I
so
see this?
so picture what Hogue does. Picture Hogue, except you only have one client. Because
Oh,
I work as an in-house counsel, so I work for a very specific company. We do a very specific thing,
hmm,
and I advise on contracts for that company. That is my role. Whereas what
okay,
Hogue does is Hogue has a law firm, and he has a bunch of different clients that he works for. And he used to have Hogue Law, now he works for the other law firm that he does. But he's got all these different clients and billable hours and all of that. I don't have any of that. I have one company. I have a company laptop right here next to me. That's it. I work for them. I get a salary. I don't do billable hours or anything like that.
oh, okay,
Um, yeah. So I do contracts and everything. So that's one of the reasons that Hogue and I get along so well, is because we do have a very similar mindset, and we our experience is similar. He handles a lot more mergers and acquisitions side of things. I handle
yes,
more standard contracting, but
mm.
the basis of what we do is negotiation and contracting. Whereas I don't touch litigation. I don't go into courtrooms. I don't even wear a suit and tie. Like what I'm wearing right now.
Oh,
Like this is my work. I work in this very spot, except I'm turned that way because that's where the work laptop is, and this
oh,
is the
cool.
the gaming side. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. And so you're
So.
fully remote too, or you?
Yep, I'm a
Wow.
complete, fully remote. My company is actually based in Florida. We're in Rochester, New York, right now.
Mm.
While my fiance Jing, who's sneaking out the door, bye dear, love you too. She's a doctor actually, and she is
Oh,
in
wow.
a fellowship to become a cancer doctor. She is working on specializing in cancer treatment.
Oh, wow.
Uh, she is very smart.
Wow, yeah, two very successful people. Damn, damn, dude,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
great.
So thank you. Yeah. So she's in her training. She's got a little bit over a year left of her training, and then
Hmm.
she'll be a fully fledged cancer doctor, which is
Wow,
really cool. Yeah.
wow,
Um, yeah.
that's
It's
amazing.
it's nice.
Does that mean like a cancer doctor? Because how do I? Does she work in a hospital or like a laboratory or?
So right now it's a training. So she works for a university hospital
Mm,
and
cool.
University of Rochester, and she all does rotations where like sometimes she works in a clinic, sometimes she'll be doing research, sometimes she's working in the hospital itself. Right now she's working on a Saturday because she's on call. She's taking the call rotation for the
Oh,
weekend, which is exhausting. She's got to work like 32 hours in a row or something crazy like that.
whoa,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
it's tough. She's got it rough out there for sure, but I'm very proud of her, and she
yeah.
works very hard, and she's super duper smart, and she's almost done. And I say these things not because she listens to the show, because she doesn't usually listen to the show, but I want everyone to know that I love her very much.
Oh, that's very nice. How long have you been together?
We are a little over 3 years at this point. Our
Oh,
anniversary is in
okay.
January of our official dating. We started dating in October of 22, and we
Mm,
made it official in January of 23. So. And we
nice,
got
nice.
engaged in October last year. Uh,
Okay, very nice. And
yeah,
when are you getting married? When is it
we
happening?
we're working on the date still. We don't have a
Oh,
full a
okay,
full
sure.
date in place. We have a wedding planner who we're working with and whatnot, but we're trying to push it to after her graduation from the fellowship because it's just easier on her, to not need to worry about all of that. So
Mm.
probably summer to fall of next year is what we're looking at.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's amazing. Oh, congrats! That's so awesome.
Thank
Every
you.
every time you say fellowship, I'm like, oh, she's in Lord of the Rings. But
I know, right?
that's
That's a good top. That's a good segue for a later topic, actually, that we'll be talking about. But I really enjoyed that restaurant, to bring us back on topic
sure.
there, and
Yeah,
it was great. And everyone's got a happy place. So Mark, what was your happy place for this week?
it's gonna sound very stupid, right? Because
No, no, not never.
my happy place is always the same one, and my happy place is this place. I love my apartment. I love being inside. I used to be a very, very outgoing person. Like when I was growing up until COVID, really, I was always
Mm,
outside, always meeting people, always walking everywhere and saying hello to everyone, being very outgoing. But then when COVID happened, something clicked in my brain, and like it's okay to be alone too. So
hmm
ever since then, I got kind of addicted to being alone. So whenever I have to do something, like this week, I had a couple of meetings where I had to go to the office to a firm I'm consulting with. So I had to go to the office, had to meet a lot of people, had to have a lot of meetings. So then when I come back home, I'm like, oh, thank God, like I can be at ease here. No, no people whining in my
hmm
ears. No, all I have here is my cat, and that's it. So
Yeah.
I love being alone. I know that sounds weird, especially these days, or especially after COVID, but to me it's kind of new. Like I've always lived with people. This is the first time where I'm really on my own,
hmm
because I've always had roommates or parents or girlfriends, of course, but this is the first time where I'm really all by myself, and it's so addicting. It's dangerous too, because
mm
I read articles, and my friends sometimes ask me like, "Are you lonely?" There, I'm like, "No, this is amazing," but it's also pretty dangerous because you can actually get addicted to it. I read some articles about it that people become like hermits.
mm.
So I always make it. I always go out of my way to still go outside and do at least one thing per day,
That's good.
even if it's like going to the store, or even if it's like going outside doing one thing.
hmm
But it also doesn't help that we have a heat wave here right now, and I
Uh,
cannot stand the heat. I do very well in the cold. I have like Nordic blood, I guess, so I do very well in the cold, like minus whatever degrees, no problem. I'll just wear a coat. But as soon as it hits 20 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 60, 70, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, I it's over for me. So
yeah, you're Belgian, right? So
yeah.
so your weather there is very temperate, isn't it? You're normally like not too hot, not too cold most of the time. So a heat wave must really hit you hard.
We have the same atmosphere as New York, basically. Where I think that's where closer to where you are, right? Like that's
Yeah, I'm in New York right now. New York City is about 2 hour flight, not 2 hour, like an hour, maybe 45-minute flight down, or
okay.
like a 5 hours, 5 to 7 hour drive. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah,
I'm in
well,
the
yeah,
same state.
yeah. Well, we have the exact same climate as New York, but it's not always the same. Like when you guys have rain, the sun can shine over here, but
Yeah, yeah.
we never have like real extremes here. Like it can get cold in the winter, but never too cold. It gets
hmm
hot in the summer, but never like Arizona hot. Like it's always doable. But I'm European,
Yeah.
so I don't do well in the heat. So the only reason I took this apartment, I moved in here like 4 years ago, and it's one of the very few apartments in Belgium that has AC, because we don't
Yeah.
have AC.
Yeah.
But this
You need
apartment
it. You
has.
need AC. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's blowing full speed now, and it's lovely. Like I can feel the heat from the sun, but it's still cold, and it's wonderful. I
hmm
love it. That's why I never want to leave my apartment. But so that's my happy place, my apartment. I
Yeah.
know it's a little bit weird, but that's my happy
No,
place.
it's not weird at all. I love being at home. I work from home. I'm home most of the time. It's my make a point of go out is I'm a big fan of diners. I like going to
Oh, sure.
diners for food. I don't know if
Yeah.
diners are a big thing over in Europe. I know you have cafes, I guess. That's probably
Yes.
your equivalent of a
Yeah.
diner.
Yeah. We don't really have diners here. But we do have like, yeah, cafes and there. Yeah, like little places where you can, like little local places. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got a couple really nice diners. When we're done here, I'm gonna go and get a burger at a diner down the road because
Mm.
I've been away for like 6 weeks or so. I haven't been there in a minute. So I like to
Oh,
go and get a nice burger, and I'm friendly
sure.
with some of the staff. That's one of my favorite things is to be a regular someplace. I like to be like, I'm a regular here. They know my order, they know me, I know them, like that sort of thing.
Sure.
It's a fun feeling to have that. But yeah, I'm right there with you in terms of heat. I don't handle heat well either, but I would rather live in a I would rather live in a place where I don't have to deal with the snow because right here in Rochester,
Oh,
we get snow constantly in the winter, and our winter is like 7 to 8 months long.
oh, wow.
It was snowing through April up here, which
Wow.
is a long time if you
Yeah.
don't realize.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Damn.
yeah, so I'm from New York originally, but we were living in Florida before we came up to Rochester, which is, as you know, a
Mm.
very hot place to live.
Yes. Yeah, I
But
went down.
everywhere has air conditioning down there. Florida is the birthplace of air conditioning, if you didn't know that.
Mm.
So It's much nicer down there when you have air conditioning everywhere you go.
Mm. Oh, that's wonderful. I remember I went to Arizona once, I think with my
Mm,
dad or something. We went there for something like a pass
yeah,
through trip, and I couldn't go outside because it was too hot. Like I couldn't
yeah,
deal with it. So Florida, I would probably die. Like I would.
probably. Probably. I feel like I'm dying when I'm outside in Florida sometimes. But my grandma always says this thing, or she used to live in Florida. She lives with my parents now, but
Mm,
she used to say, it's not such a big deal because you go from the house to the car, it's all air conditioned, to the store, it's all air conditioned. Everywhere you go, you're in the air conditioning. You just have to deal with the in between. I was like, I guess that's
mm,
true.
mm. Yeah,
Uh,
but people don't really go for walks there. They don't really go
no,
outside.
you don't walk in Florida.
Oh, really?
If you're gonna
Oh,
walk in Florida, it's like it's an exercise walk, like you're doing it just for the exercise,
oh,
or and you're only doing it in the really early morning or the really late evening. You don't in the
oh.
middle of the day. It's just too hot most of the time. Not in the winter. In the winter, you get some nice walks,
Yeah.
but there's we're very distant. Everything's far. You need to drive everywhere. That's
Of
kind of
course.
like that's America is driving everywhere. You're always
Yeah.
driving places unless you're literally in New York City or something. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. That
so
makes
yeah,
sense.
no one's walking really in Florida, which, if you do, you're probably going to get sunburned just,
Oh
just
boy.
from how hot, intense the UV rays are. But
Oh boy.
well,
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
this has been a wonderful introductory segment, Lockmort. I appreciate it. So let's move into the news and see what's going on in the world of games. And as the guest, I will pass it over to you first.
Okay. Well. Okay. Sure. There's two stories, but I'll go with the fun one first, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've heard about this, but a week ago or a couple of days ago, Warhorse Studios put out a tweet, which is very unique for them because they don't do that often. Warhorse Studios are, of course, the people who made Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And they put up a very innocent tweet that basically all it said was, "You might have heard the rumors. It's time to review what we are working on," which is very fast because only a year ago they released Kingdom Come
Hmm.
Deliverance 2. And what they are working on is an open world Middle Earth RPG, which is mind blowing, basically a Lord of the Rings game,
Yeah.
but also a new Kingdom Come adventure, which is also mind blowing because they just released Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah.
And then they concluded the tweet with saying, "We're excited to tell you more when the time is right." But what's not in the article is that the time apparently was already right yesterday, because one of their what do you call it, communication
Yeah.
advisors or
PR people.
PR people, yeah, went on a stream and basically confirmed that this will be the next Kingdom Come Deliverance game. They didn't say it was with Henry, which I found very suspicious. So
Yeah.
I'm going to presume it's not Henry, but they did say that it's another open world big RPG. So it's not a small game, it's another huge game. And they've been
Hmm.
working on it for a while, which is very interesting to me because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 released last year, all the DLC was out, but that was a huge game. They've been working on that for years and years and
Huge.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 came out in 2018, but it wasn't really finished. So they kept working on that too. And then in the meantime, half of the team kept working on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But now we've learned that there's a third team, I guess, that has been working on this new special game. But what's more important about this, I feel like, is that we have no idea what it's about or when it is set. Like it could be literally anything. All we
Yeah.
know is that it's a Kingdom Come game. Now, to me, that tells me that it might. What I personally think is that it takes place after Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because in history, the next Kingdom Come Deliverance, so no spoilers, of course, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 3 is going to jump 20 years ahead in history, because that's when the Hussite Wars happened in that region, which is a very interesting time period. But in the 20 years between the end of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and the start of the Hussite Wars, not a whole lot happened over there. So I'm
Mm.
guessing, it's pure speculation, of course, but I'm guessing that that's what this game is going to focus on. Maybe you're playing a child of Henry. That would make sense to me. Like he has kids or something, and you play as one
Yeah.
of his kids. Again, pure speculation. I don't know anything, of
Yeah.
course, but that would signify to me that's what they're working on. And then, of course, the other big part of the story, or maybe even the biggest part of the story, is that they're working on a Middle Earth open world RPG. That those are the direct quotes, like open world Middle Earth
Hmm.
RPG, which is insane to everyone, of course. I remember years ago, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was on this podcast with Maddie, Mr. Maddie Plays, and we saw that Daniel Vavra, the director of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2, was wearing a Lord of the Rings t-shirt. So we had an entire podcast discussing, like, what if they made a Lord of the Rings game? And everybody told us, no, you're crazy. They're not making one. Embracer also owns them, but they also own the Lord of the Rings IP. They're only giving it to other studios, like people who made Gollum and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be them. And then a couple of months ago, a story broke out that Crystal Dynamics was working on a Lord of the Rings game. So it wasn't going to be Warhorse. But now we found out that it is Warhorse. So I'm very, very, very excited to find out what this game is. It could be anything. Again, same with the Kingdom Come Deliverance game, or Kingdom Come game, I should say. It could be literally anything. I don't know if it takes place during the books or during the movies, or if it takes place during the Silmarillion or the Hobbit, or it could be literally anything. I personally really hope that it does take place during the books, because not many people dare to do that anymore. Like Rings of Power, the TV show, goes all the way back, or KOTOR went all the way back. It would be really cool, I think, if it takes place during the movies, but we're playing a peasant. Like, we're just playing like a Rohirrim or something like that, or a person in Gondor, or even a Hobbit in the Shire. Like, we're playing just a random character, which would be
just
really
a guy.
cool. Yeah, exactly, just a guy. So I'm so excited about this.
Henry in Middle Earth.
Literally, yeah, literally. That would be the premise, right? That would work so well, I think. I presume we're not going to see this game for at least 4 to 5 years. But I cannot wait, dude. This is immediately jumped up to my most anticipated game of all time. So I can't wait to find out what this is. But what do you think about this story?
Yeah, so I adore Warhorse. I loved Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. I'm not one of those people who like saw how good 2 was and like jumped on the train on 2 or whatever. Like I didn't back it in Kickstarter or anything, but I heard about this game and was like, oh, this looks really cool. Like, that sounds really fun. So I jumped in, and I had these very distinct memories, Locke, of the game launching. I was fresh out of law school. So I was working my first post-law school job, but it was only a part-time job because it was very hard to find work as a fresh grad. And I bought this game, and I played it for a couple minutes. It was like, oh, it's kind of buggy. And then I saw these things. It was like, oh, we're patching it. And I was like, oh, okay, they're going to patch the game, so I'll wait. So I have these memories of sitting in the office of my first post-law school job, reading patch notes as they were patching the game, waiting to like get to the point where I was like, is this when I jump in? Is this when I jump in?
Yeah.
And then I think I jumped in patch 1.3. So I think it was like a month or 6 weeks after the game came out. It was whenever they like fixed the broken lockpicking system.
Yes.
Like they like, that was what I was like, okay, this is going to be a game where I'm going to be lockpicking a lot. I need it to work.
Yeah.
So I jumped in there, and then I dove into that game, and I played it so much. My Steam library says that I have 178 hours in it.
Nice.
I don't know if that's accurate. It could be a little bit less than that, because I know that my KCD2 time, which Steam says is 220 hours.
Yes, nice.
Is probably, I think that's closer to like 150 in reality, because, leaving the game running and reloads and whatnot. I'm a save scummer to the high heavens. I save scum constantly. I don't fail things. My Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough is like so long, mostly from reloads.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Rolls.
Of course.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I saw that piece about the Kingdom Come being another open world thing. I wonder, do you think they're going to reuse like the maps? Do you think they're going to have the Trotsky region and whatnot again, or in Gutenberg? Or are they going to like have a new map?
I think it's got to be new, unless it fully depends what they're going to do. If they have like a small Pentiment like murder mystery, then sure, they can reuse the maps. But in history, after Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, nothing really happens in this region anymore for many, many years. So if they do something here, they either have to make it a very personal story, or they have to make something up.
Could it be a prequel?
It could be a prequel, but again, not much happens there before Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 either. So
I mean, there's if you think about like the basic plot of like, with Wenceslas being captured, maybe it's like around the time that he was captured. Maybe you do like in the preceding months that lead up to the invasion of the humans from the first game.
Oh, okay, yeah, that could be cool. I think they're being very deliberate with the title. Like they're not
Yeah,
calling it Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Deliverance. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
So I think that signifies that there's no Henry. At least
I
I would
agree.
assume so, right?
Yeah, I think
So
so.
yeah, it could be a prequel, of course. That's true. The only thing with a prequel, I think, is that you're maybe it's about his parents or like, well, no spoilers,
Yeah.
of course, but it could be about his parents or something like that. The only problem I see with that is you get stuck fairly quick with that, right?
Mm.
Like there's a definitive end, and if it's successful, there's no sequel to it. Like, well, the sequel is Kingdom Come Deliverance, of course.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Uh,
think about it, like this. If this is a spin-off, then this is the lead-in to get people to play the main series. Like that,
oh yeah.
you don't necessarily need a sequel to the
Hmm.
spin-off game. The spin-off is how you draw people into the rest of it.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's also a good way to look at it. Of course. Yeah,
Just a thought, you know?
that's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Personally, I would love it if it's not a prequel. For certain games I like prequels, but
Mhm.
I also feel like prequels trap you too much
Oh,
into the
100%. They
setting.
super trap you for sure.
Yeah. And I would because if characters show up and they're still alive in Kingdom Come, you already know they're making it out alive. So
Hmm.
but it could literally be anything. It could also take place in a whole different part of Europe.
Yeah.
I would think that if it's a sequel or something of a sequel, like I think it takes place in or around Prague, the city of Prague.
That would be awesome. I was hoping we go to Prague in 3. Like that's what I
Yeah,
would really expect is us to go to Prague in 3.
yeah.
I want to add into your comment on prequels because one of my biggest pet peeves, and really what I think might be the biggest flaw of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, is that it starts in media res. Do you know the phrase in media res?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah, yeah,
It starts in media res. It starts in that battle, and I'm
yeah,
like, that is so frustrating to
yeah,
me because I now know that the people that I see in this scene,
yep,
nothing's gonna happen to them the
yep.
rest of until I catch up to that scene.
And the battle is at the very end too of
It's
the
the
game.
very
So
end. It's the very end. That's what drove me crazy. I
yeah.
couldn't believe it.
I
Yeah, that is my
yeah.
least favorite form of storytelling.
Same, me too. That's so funny that you say that because I fully agree with that. I hate it when games or movies do that when they start like
Oh,
in the middle of like a scene that comes later. It never. I don't know why they did that either because it doesn't serve a
adds
purpose.
nothing. It adds
Yeah,
nothing to it unless
yeah,
unless it's like, why am I not Henry at this very moment in the opening? Like that's the
yeah.
only question mark.
Or maybe they did it so that people are like straight away into the action or something, or they can see what the engine can do. Or
I don't know. It's I don't I don't I don't ever like it. I mind it less when the catch up point is earlier. Like
yeah,
if you're catching up and it's just maybe the first half of the first act or something you're caught
yeah,
up. But
yeah.
that's like literally the end. It's crazy to me that that's where they start it.
Yeah, 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 you're absolutely right. That was a very weird choice. It's funny that they never explained that either, because I thought
Yeah,
I feel like that has to be almost like a PR or a marketing thing. That marketing or PR said the start is too slow. We need to start with action, put
yeah.
the battle at the start or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we should tweet at them. Maybe they'll answer.
Yeah.
They're very tweety.
They are,
But
yeah.
as far as the Middle Earth thing goes, I will say I have never read nor seen Lord of the Rings. I have zero exposure to Lord of the Rings, which is a
Oh.
huge strike against my like nerdy video game
Oh.
fantasy cred. I'm interested in it. I just have never, it's just never happened. It's just never been a thing for me. So
Sure.
I am still super excited about this because I love Kingdom Come, because I love
Hmm.
Warhorse. I know what they can do. I think that this is going to be awesome. Is the best way I can say it. It's just going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Without even knowing what it's going to be. I think your idea of like Henry and Middle Earth is great. I think that's brilliant. Um, my understanding of the Middle Earth world is that there's a lot of stuff before and after like
Yeah.
this stuff that they could place it in before like the main story of the book. So
Yeah.
maybe they do something like that. But I think that seeing a Kingdom Come team, a Warhorse adaptation of that story would be really cool because they could give that unique perspective of what is it like
Yeah.
to see this as just that average person, like just that average guy. My
Exactly.
biggest exposure to Lord of the Rings is I played the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games. Like
Nice. Good
that's
games.
pretty much it. Yeah, they are.
Mm.
They're very good games. I played Shadow of War in COVID, or yeah, in COVID, like in the middle of COVID is
Sure.
when I played that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I have some interesting memories associated with that. Uh,
That's so fun. I think you're one of the very few people I've ever talked to who hasn't seen Lord of the Rings. That's so
I know.
that's good. I'm jealous of you though, because that means you get to experience them still for the first
I
time.
do. I do.
Yeah.
I didn't see Star Wars until like the Force Awakens came out. Like I hadn't seen any of the
Mm.
Star Wars things. So like some of my exposure to very popular things has come late in life, I have to say. But
I love that. That's awesome. That because you
yeah.
still get to discover something entirely new. Like
Hmm.
I bet if you watch Lord of the Rings now, you'll be crying and you'll be like, oh my god, like why can't movies be made like this anymore?
Yeah. I look forward to getting to it at some point. It's just there's so much. Like they're huge. They're
Yeah,
big movies, especially if I like do I watch the extended cuts? Do I watch the
yes,
original cuts? Like what should I watch? What version of it is best? And how do I find
extended.
the time? There's so many games to play out there. Like
Yeah, yeah. It's
oh,
basically a week. It's a weekend. You're gonna have to spend your entire
yeah.
weekend watching Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this was great. I was so excited when I saw this news story come through, and knowing that you were my guest on here, I expressly did not pick this as a news story because I knew that you would pick it because I know your love of Warhorse and whatnot, and of Daniel Vavra and the team over there. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
love them. Yeah.
this is great. I just last year I went through a not Yakuza, that's a Mafia pilgrimage where I played
Oh,
all of the Mafia games,
hell yeah.
which I'd never played more than two. I'd only played Mafia 2. And
Mm,
so I played the definitive edition of 1 and I replayed 2 and then I played 3. Was that last year? Or was it 24?
nice.
It was within the last year or so. It was pretty
Mm.
recent. And my opinion on them is pretty much what it's always been. I think that I hate Mafia 2. I think Mafia 2 is terrible. I think it's awful.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I loved Mafia 1. I really really enjoyed Mafia 1 a
Sure.
lot. And I think Mafia 3 gets too much hate. And then I played Mafia the Old Country and I reviewed it for Season Gaming when it came
Mm,
out actually, and
nice.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I made some claims that make people shake their heads, and I'm like, this is like better Uncharted. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
better than Uncharted. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Mafia: The Old Country is better than the Uncharted games. Like
Mm.
honestly,
Yeah. It's a
um,
great game. Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
So I have some experience with Daniel Vavra's earlier works within it's
He's gonna get very angry if he listens to this. You know
I
why?
know
Because
because he doesn't like the changes they made in the definitive edition.
he
I
didn't make the
know.
definitive edition, and he got fired during the making of two. So
Yeah.
he's probably gonna like it that you said that you don't like two because he hates two as well because they
Yeah.
changed the ending and stuff. So.
All of yeah, 2 is just I don't like there's very little about 2 that was enjoyable. I think it still plays terribly. I had this crazy bug, and because the remaster of 2 is notoriously like
Oh yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was falling through the world. I was just driving along. There were just segments of the map that didn't load, and I had to find different routes to get where I had to go because the map
Oh,
didn't load, and I fell through the
oh
street.
no, that's horrible.
It
Yeah,
was it was terrible.
person.
I'm sure that the original Mafia would have been great to play. It's just too old to try
Yes,
and play the original.
yeah.
I hope that the definitive edition at least respected his vision of the overall game, even if they tweaked it a bit at the end.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. Personally, I love Mafia 2 and I hate Mafia 3, so we disagree on that one.
That's fine. Yeah.
But I think Mafia 2, what it does well is the start of the game is magnificent. I think in the snow, you
Yeah.
arrive in New York, like it's snowy, or New York. It's not really New York, but it is New York, right?
Yeah.
Um, what is it called? Empire Bay, I think.
Empire Bay or Empire
Yeah,
City. Yeah, something like that.
yeah. So you arrive in the snow and you see the seasons change, and I love the buddy relationship between Joe and what's his name again?
Vito.
Vito. Yeah, exactly. I love that buddy relationship, and then the end is completely rushed. Like the end
Yeah.
was not good.
So here's my issue with 2 specifically. I don't want to get too off topic, but my issue with
Sure.
2 is you never get to feel like you're a mafia guy. It's the story
Sure.
is just constantly pushing you along. I mean,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm a made man now, and it's like, oh wait, and my house got burnt down. I lost all my money. Like, like that's not no spoiling the whole game. That's just a plot point. Like your house gets burnt down at some point in the game, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what you never feel like you earned anything in there because it's pushing you along the whole time. I felt at least with
True.
with the old country, you know, the latest release, even though it's very similarly linear. Oh, she's so cute. Even though it's similarly linear, at least I felt like I was earning money. Like my money wasn't just stolen from me at some point in time. Like
Sure, yeah.
I could eventually go and buy the guns and go to the supplier and stuff. Like it felt like I was making progress in
Yeah.
a way that I felt the rug got ripped out from under me in two. So
That's true. That's a valid point. Two is more like a personal story, right? It's not really a
it
mafia
is.
story. It's more about Vito's
Yeah.
personal story. So
Do you not
I
like
get
the
that.
story of three when you say you don't like three, or is it the
I
gameplay? Because I think the story of three is excellent.
I love the story of three. I love
Yeah.
everything about three except for the game. I hate what they did with
Yeah.
the open world. I hate like collecting like the green little lock boxes that you have to unlock to
Yeah.
get pieces.
It's clearly a template from another time. You know, they were
Yeah,
clearly trying something and they
yeah,
don't quite make it. I agree with you. The gameplay is lacking in there. But I was so invested in Lincoln's story, and I really
yeah,
liked the documentary style
yeah.
storytelling in there.
Amazing. It's also really cool characters like Donovan, the CIA guy, is amazing. Look,
Yeah.
I
And the priest, I can't
yeah,
remember the priest's name, but he's really cool.
yeah, yeah. No, it has a really great story, really great villains too, and the soundtrack
Yeah.
of that game is impeccable, amazing.
Yeah.
It's just that if they would have developed that game 2 years later, it would have been amazing. I feel like, but
Hmm.
like you said, it was a sign of the time. Like the weapons had no upgrades. Like you would just pick
Hmm.
up a new weapon and then go shoot people, and then they're
Yeah.
gone. Like money, you could just pick up money everywhere. It didn't make a whole. The story was so awesome that the gameplay didn't serve it, and that's
Yeah.
why it's one of my most. I always bring it up at my most disappointing games of all time
Hmm.
because I love Mafia 1 and 2. They're one of my favorite series. And then
Yeah.
I remember when Mafia 3 came out in 2016, I want to say, I took a week off from work just to play Mafia 3. And then I got it, and it was just this open world drafting because it was also very buggy at launch.
Yeah.
They fixed that now, but at launch it was very buggy. I see that the sun is playing its tricks on me again, so I'm going to try and lower
Okay.
this thing. It's probably going to be a little bit freaky for a while, but we'll see. We'll figure it
No,
out.
no worries. Yeah, the Mafia games, they're good. I'm really excited. I was so happy to see that the old country did really well. Like that 2K was happy with how that game did, and that we'll
Yeah,
get something more because like I think they're on the right track now.
yeah,
If they just keep moving along the track that the old country went on, I think that they've got it set up well. So you
yeah.
know, obviously we're off track from Daniel Vavra here, but yeah, I am very excited about this news. I think it'll be a really interesting time to see, and hopefully this is a Middle Earth game that doesn't get canceled, unlike the Amazon Middle Earth one that got canceled recently.
Very sad about that. Very sad about that. Because I love the Lord of the Rings online. I love everything Lord of the Rings. So I
Mm,
back in the day, I was hugely into the MMO Lord of the Rings online, which still exists, but it's almost unplayable these days.
yeah.
So when Amazon said, "Yeah, we're gonna redo that," I'm like, "Oh yes, finally!" But yeah,
Hmm.
no chance, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into the next news story. So I'm going to begin my news story choices this week with a new mini segment that I just made up, and I'm going to call it PlayStation Station. This is where we lump a bunch of PlayStation news into a single headline because none of them are that big on their own, but there's enough to chat briefly on each one. So this week in the PlayStation Station, PlayStation Plus prices for 1 and 3 month subscriptions have officially gone up as of May 20th, 2026, increasing somewhere between $1 and $5, depending on your tier and length of subscription. This marks the first increase in subscription pricing since September 2023, when they rose 30 to 35% worldwide, and comes on the heels of the company's increase in console prices in early April. Uh, I don't know what the price increase for Europe was. Was it similar? Do you know?
It's similar. I think I don't want to. I'm not sure. I can look it up, but I think it's similar. I think it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. You have a PlayStation, right? Are you a PlayStation Plus subscriber?
I was up until this news broke. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am a little crazy sometimes. And when they announced the price increases in 2023, I bought 10 years of PlayStation Plus.
Oh wow, smart. Yeah, smart. That's a
I
good way to do it. Yeah.
they had this crazy thing where they had a system in place where they would only charge you so much if you upgraded. So I upgraded from essential to premium and then bought 10 years of PlayStation Plus. So I'm
Mm,
good until 2033 on
damn.
PlayStation
That's
Plus.
awesome. That's amazing. Yeah.
I don't regret it. It was a one-time fee. I don't have to think about it. And people are like, "Oh, but
Yeah,
you're committing yourself to an ecosystem." Like, I'm not gonna not play on PlayStation in the next
exactly.
10 years. Like,
Yeah,
that's just, so I might as well.
yeah, that's very
Um,
smart.
I think this is ridiculous that they're increasing the prices, though. It's like, just come on. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why? What is the market conditions? That doesn't make any sense. What market? The market of we want more money market.
You're basically paying for their mistakes, for the mistakes they made over the past decade. That's
Yeah,
what this is, right?
this is their attempt to recoup the cost of Bungie, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well, part of it is that I feel like, yeah, well, of course, there's a lot more to it, I guess, but I feel like that's definitely part of it. Like we're paying for their mistakes now because the market isn't demanding that online prices go up. Like this has nothing to
yeah.
do with like the chipset or
hmm
the RAM shortage or so. Yeah, what do you think this is really about? Why are they doing this?
It's got to be the numbers. The numbers just don't look good to them. I guess part of it could be the inflation that we have had some pretty intense inflation since 2023, where
Sure.
money is worth less. So maybe there's some level of that. But it's such a small increase. Usually when these companies do their increases, they do it in like big bulk price increases because they want to not have to do it again so frequently. I feel like raising it between $1 and $5, they're going to do it again in like 6 months. Like
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
small. I mean, remember
Exactly.
when Xbox increased the price of the consoles twice in 1 year because they didn't do
Yes.
it enough?
Yeah. Ridiculous, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the kind of thing that I'm like, oh, they're like, there's something going on in the background that we're just not privy to about why they feel the need to do it. But
Yeah, because they also hiked up the prices for the consoles themselves, which
yeah,
is
early April. Yeah,
equally ridiculous. I think it's the first time in history that's ever happened, right? Where a new console came along like the PS5 Pro, and it's now I think 100 or 200 bucks more expensive than it was at launch, right?
yeah. I mean, I have the Pro here because I was like, it's not going to get cheaper. There's
Yeah,
just no way it's going to get cheaper. I was like, I'm going to buy it. I'll do it
same,
now.
same.
Uh, it's just it's yeah. All these consoles going up in price. I hope that the people who are saying that the next generation is going to be reasonably priced, because some people are saying that they're like, oh, the die size and this and that, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that they're kind of training the customers to get used to exorbitant prices so that they can continue to charge exorbitant prices. Like,
yeah. I think we'll see it soon enough with the Steam machine, right? I
hmm
really wonder what the because Valve is normally very very generous with their pricing of their
yeah.
machines or their
Except the
controllers.
Steam Deck, that was crazy from the
Yeah,
start.
that was indeed crazy. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what they are going to charge for that Steam machine that they're releasing soon because it's going to happen soon too, like somewhere in the
Hopefully,
next couple of months. Yeah. So I'm very
yeah.
curious what they do because I think that all depends. It all depends on that. I think if that goes up way higher than people assume, because people assume right now that it's going to be between 500 and 600 bucks.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too. Yeah,
Personally, I feel like if the chip shortage keeps going up and the RAM shortage keeps lasting, I can see it being like between 800 and 900 bucks.
yeah,
And
I can too.
if that's the case, PS6 and the new Xbox Helix, whatever they're gonna call it, are not gonna be below 1,000. I feel like.
Yeah. Are you gonna get the Steam? Excuse me, the Steam machine? Is that something you're interested in?
I would. My TV is right behind my PC here, so I
Yeah.
can basically put my HDMI cable in it. But I feel like because I'm like working in like games and stuff, I feel like I have to. I
hmm
feel like you have to buy every new console, so I will.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be with a happy face. Let's put it. Let's say
Yeah.
it that way.
My setup's the same. My TV's right over there. I bought one of those I bought a powered HDMI cords because
Oh,
it's
nice.
about 15 feet between the plug and the computer. So I bought
Yeah.
it was a little bit more, it wasn't that much more, but it lets me make sure that I get the full 4K because I have a 4090 in my PC here and whatnot. Like I
Oh,
have the
nice. Yeah.
yeah.
Very
Um
nice.
Yeah, well, I wanted to. I just like, you know what? I haven't built a PC in like a decade. I'm gonna go all in on this PC when I did like 3 years ago, and
Nice.
so I did. And then when we moved, this particular setup up here is very convenient. So when I played Avowed on my PC, but I would switch back and forth between sitting at the keyboard here and play on the controller on the TV.
Very nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's what it made for. What do you think of Avowed? That's always a very important question.
So I've actually written into Summon Sign before with you on there and asked about
Oh,
this.
oh, damn. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to
That's
apologize in
okay. No,
advance.
no, no, because I didn't think you'd remember. Because it's just people reading names you don't remember. But I
Sure.
actually really like Avowed. I know that you do not like Avowed,
I gotta go.
I
Goodbye.
I recognize that Avowed is not perfect, but I love Pillars, and I thought
Sure.
that this was a really good. This is the best imaginable representation of the Pillars world in
Hmm.
3D that I could have pictured. Even if it has problems,
Hmm.
even if it's, kind of stilted in the characters and some of the writing can be hit or miss. It's not like the
Yeah.
best story, but it's very Pillars. Everything about it feels Pillars, and that's what really sucked me into this world.
That's true. Yeah, I can accept that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is definitely true. I just I
Yeah.
I hate that it has so many missed opportunities. This
Oh
game.
yeah, that kills me. That is
Yeah.
very disappointing. I also crashed constantly when I
Oh yeah.
reviewed it. I
Yeah.
don't know what the crash was. I had this one crash like 30 times in there, and I
Wow.
reported it to the devs, and they were like, "Did you try this? Did you try this?" And I'm like, "It's not working, man. It's not working." So I had to deal with that. Thankfully, I auto saves and saved off it enough. I never really lost anything from it. But yeah, I
Nice.
I like Avowed. I think it's a pretty great game with some huge flaws, with some huge opportunities
Sure.
missed in there. Um, but yeah, so that setup was how I played Avowed that way. Yeah, so
Mm,
I
nice.
probably won't get the Steam machine just because I don't think it's necessary right now. But
Sure.
maybe I will if it's reasonably priced. If it's $500 or $600, that's really there's a line. There's that
Yeah.
line of like, is this a lot of money? What is that line for each individual? It changes.
Yeah.
You hit $600, you're close to that line, but that's not that line yet for me. But you hit that
Yeah.
seven, eight, $900, that's when it's a lot of money.
It also depends on like let's say you have no Steam library.
Hmm.
Then I think even $1,000 is, or I think even $200-300 is way too much. I would buy it because every game I own is on Steam almost. I have like
Yeah,
500-600 games on there. So that's a
yeah,
given that I can then play them on TV. At least I hope so. So that gives me an extra incentive to buy it. But
definitely.
let's say there's someone who doesn't even have a Steam account. Is it still worth it then, you think? I don't
No, if
know.
you don't have a Steam account at all, I would say unless you're planning on becoming a Steam user, then
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
if you're a console player and you're fed up with consoles and you're like, I'm going to be a PC player, but I still want to play on my console, then that's a good use case for it, I would say.
Yeah.
That kind of person. And
Yeah.
there are people like that. Some people are tired of the consoles and the maybe you don't want to pay for your online access anymore. You don't want to sign up for PlayStation Plus.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
So all right, next on that story for PlayStation Station, Bloomberg reports that at a town hall with PlayStation Studios boss Herman Hulst, that single-player PlayStation games will no longer be coming to PC after experimenting with bringing them there for the past few years. Uh, how do you feel about that, Locke? What do you think about this?
It's a weird thing, right? Like I don't fully understand like the premise of the story even. Like what are they even saying here? Like
They're basically saying that all of the single player PlayStation games, the Staroses and the Ghosts of Yotes, they're not
I
going to make PC ports of
I
them.
I get that, but I don't believe it. First of all, I feel they've said. I feel like sometimes I'm going crazy because I feel like they've said this before. I feel like they've said this before that not every game is going to go to PC, and then it still did. But also,
uh, I'm trying to think if that. I know that they said that when it came to day and date releases not coming to
yeah,
PC, they were like, not everything's going to be day and date.
I'm glad you brought that up because their live service games are still going to go to PC. Like
Yeah.
Hunter's Gathering is going to be on PC. I presume Fair
Hmm.
Games is going to be on PC. I presume whatever else live service games they're working on are still going
Yeah.
to PC. So what games are you really missing out on then? Wolverine,
Yeah.
I
Wolverine,
guess.
Saros, Yote,
Yeah,
probably
Yote.
Intergalactic.
Yeah. I feel like this would be a big thing if they had like a slew of games over like two generations.
Yeah.
Then this would be big. But right now, with their lineup, I don't really care. Like it's, of
Yeah.
course
They
I
they
have.
haven't done much.
Yeah, exactly. I have a PS5 Pro, of course, so I can just buy it there. So for me, there's
Hmm.
not really a big issue. But I feel like my friends who are PC only players also say the same thing. They're like, first of all, they also don't believe it, and and second of all, it doesn't really matter because there's no games. Like, sure, they can play Ghost of Yote right now or Saros, but I mean, is that really such a big deal at this point? They can play that later if they have
Yeah, I
to.
mean, there's plenty of other games out there to play. Swimming
Yeah,
in games here, drowning in games.
exactly. And also, whenever they did port games, it was always way later too.
Yeah,
So that's why I said like I don't really understand this story yet, because it's, to me at this point it's really not, it's really a non-story at this point. We'll see what they'll do like in
yeah.
a year or in 2 years. Maybe they think like this right now, but I feel like they can just as easily change their stance on this in like a year or in 2 years.
Oh yeah, I
But
mean, as soon as corporate leadership changes, the entire company policy on everything can change.
exactly, that's exactly what I mean. And I also think like they still need their money. Like I think Sarah's did pretty poorly sales wise. Like it's sold like 300K, which is,
Something like that. Yeah, it was. I think it was eighth or ninth on the charts for
yeah,
Circana.
which
Yeah,
is
not too hot.
yeah, for especially for a PlayStation 5 exclusive, because it was nowhere else. That's
Hmm.
not too great. Marathon, which was also on PC, of course, not too
And
great.
Xbox.
And Xbox, yeah, you're right, not too great. So they have to get their money somewhere.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it
why they're
also,
raising the prices. That's why they're raising the PS Plus prices on us.
that's true. I think it also kind of depends what they're gonna do with Bungie right now.
Yeah. Ugh.
Because that's also their little problem child right now. So it depends on so many factors. Like you said, the change of management will probably also reverse this or
Yeah.
entice them to do it more often. I feel like it's also weird to break that news now. Because did they announce this, or this is, are
No,
these
this
like
is
rumors?
reporting. They announced it internally, like at a town hall. So that's like where all the
Yeah,
employees get together and the
sure.
boss talks to them about
Yeah.
how terrible they're all doing or how great they're all doing, whatever. And then that was what was reported through Jason Schreier
Sure.
in Bloomberg.
Because
What's
that's,
funny
yeah.
is, yeah, you mentioned these games that are going to be coming to PC and whatnot. You know what wasn't mentioned in there? That's
What?
not coming to PlayStation. That is a PlayStation IP.
What?
Horizon Steel Frontiers.
Oh, the MMO. Yeah,
The
you're right.
MMO.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a first. That's not even coming to PlayStation.
You're right, dude. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a very good point. That's so weird, right? That is such a
So weird.
weird. Yeah, that's very weird. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like this is not final. Like if this would have been a statement from PlayStation and they would have come out with confidence and said, this is what we're doing and we're doing it because of this and you're going to get this in return,
Yeah.
or PC players, don't worry, we got you in this way or that way, then I would believe it. But right now I'm
Yeah.
like, well, it's probably a rumor and there's probably some substance to it, but
Yeah. I mean,
we'll see.
you say with confidence. PlayStation, Sony hasn't really said much with confidence in the last
Yeah.
chunk of time. Actually, let's bring that into the final part of PlayStation Station, because this is probably the most confident thing that Sony's done in a long time. PlayStation has announced a 60-plus-minute long state of play for June 2nd,
Yeah.
which will feature an extended look at Insomniac's Marvel's Wolverine, which is so silly, but that's the accurate description of it, and other PS5 games. This is the second year in a row with a June state of play after a more sporadic June schedule in a post E3 world. But more importantly, to your topic of speaking with confidence, this is the first time they've had a state of play announced this far in advance
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
2 weeks? That's huge. That's a giant gap.
And in theaters too. That's also
Yeah.
also very good.
In the Alamo Draft Houses, right? That's what it is. I wish it was in more than just Alamo Draft House. I don't think it is, because we don't have any Alamo Draft House up here.
Yeah.
But I did. When they were doing the E3 shows in theaters, I was going to those. I went to all the two of the three of those in the theater, because they were like free tickets. You just go and show up. And
Sure.
I remember I have the E3 2016 cup that they gave you. I have that.
Oh, that's so cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The 2016 show is still the best one. So you went to the best one.
Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so this is a big state of play. This is gonna 60-plus minutes. I wonder how much Wolverine is going to be shown, because an extended look could mean that Wolverine's like 20 minutes of the hour, and that would be really, really disappointing, I think.
Sure. Yeah. I think there has to be something big here, right? It's in theaters. They're not doing that just for Wolverine or just for whatever they have. I personally think they're going to show the next entry in like the Final Fantasy VII Remake series.
Yeah, that could be Kingdom Hearts 3 as well. 4, Kingdom Hearts 4 could show up there. That's a big one that's been announced.
Yeah. Or of course GTA could be there technically.
Do you think so? I mean,
no, I don't.
In Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two's financial call, he made it clear that marketing is with PlayStation.
Yeah.
Maybe I mean, why else do it in theaters? If like that is like the reason, if you really think about it, would be showing something from GTA. Like, no, why else? What else could be so big that you would break from a 10-year long tradition or an 8-year long tradition of not doing it in theaters and a multi-year tradition of 3 days notice for state of plays and give 2 weeks notice in a theater?
I hope it's GTA. That would be amazing, but it's very Rockstar like to do
It
it
would
that
be on
way.
Rockstar like. You're right. I agree.
And that's why I think it's very possible that it is GTA. That would be amazing, of course, but I hope it's not really.
You hope it's not. Okay.
I hope it's like a Uncharted or like something to be very excited, like The Last of Us 3. It's not going to be either of those things, but it would be. Remember, was that in 2016? No, that was 2017, I think, when they announced The Last of Us 2. That
No, I
big
think that was
trailer.
2016.
Oh, yeah, at PSX, I think, in like that big trailer where everyone went nuts.
It was wasn't that the I think so, because then the next E3 they did it in that tent. Remember they had like
Yeah, yeah,
the tent one. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's right.
I feel like I know everybody knows they're working on The Last of Us 3. Like that's no secret, or at least they're thinking about. They
Right,
said
they're
they're working on
considering
it.
it
Yeah, which means they're working on it. I feel like, um,
probably.
and everybody also knows they're working on Uncharted 2, or like they're thinking on working on Uncharted 2.
Hmm.
And we know there's a second game apart from Intergalactic. Like we know for sure it's been confirmed that they're working on a second game apart from Intergalactic. So it
Yeah.
either has to be Uncharted or The Last of Us 3. I don't know if they're going to show any of those, or are they close enough to show? Probably not. But that would
Hmm.
be my dream. But
Yeah.
most realistically, I would feel like it's Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy or
Which would be
GTA.
great.
Yeah,
That'd be huge. I love the remake series. I never played the original seven, but I played remake and rebirth, and I adore them.
yeah.
Remake is one of my top 10 games of all time. That's how much
Oh,
yeah.
nice,
I have the
nice.
platinum for remake. I don't have rebirth's platinum because some of it's crazy stuff, and I'm debating going for it someday. But I went for remake's platinum because I love that. I did not expect to love that game as much as I did, but
Nice. Hell yeah, that's awesome. But
yeah.
do you hope it's GTA or do you hope it's something else?
I hope it's GTA just so we can like stop hoping for GTA. Like
Sure.
that's the kind of place that I'm at with it, where there's all these rumors and all of this stuff, and there are people saying that GTA was going to be, have a third trailer or pre-orders last week or
Yeah.
this week. And it's just it's it's the it's the Silk Song effect, where everyone was like, Silk Song wasn't
Sure.
here, Silk Song wasn't here, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just show us the thing so we can stop hearing about the thing. Like I'm excited for it. I love
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is my favorite Grand Theft Auto. That is also in my top 10 games.
Nice.
So I'm a fan of it. Red Dead is a phenomenal series.
Yeah.
So I like what Rockstar does. I'm very curious about what this is going to be. I just need it to be shown already because I'm just, come on, man. Like,
You're kind of convincing me. I think you're right. Maybe it would be better if GTA is there so everyone can relax. Yeah. Maybe
yeah,
that's
exactly. It sucks the oxygen out of every announcement every
yeah.
week. Like, yes, would it be the biggest thing of the showcase and suck the oxygen out of everything else shown there? Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
at least then it won't suck it from everything else every other time a showcase is shown off or an event is held.
You're right. Because you're right. Because Summer Games Fest is right afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And they probably, if they show GTA before Summer Game Fest, at least you don't have the pressure there. So you're right. I think you convinced me. You're right. GTA would probably be the best thing to show there.
Yeah. Whether it happens
Yeah.
or not, I don't know. I think there's a chance. I'm not going to say yes. I think that I have been, except for the most recent State of Play, I have been disappointed by State of Plays a lot over the
Oh
last
yeah,
few
me
years.
too. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna hope, I'm not gonna expect it there, but I'm gonna hope that it's there at the same time.
Well, we know the Faye game is going to be there, obviously, like the God of War
Probably.
game.
Yeah.
It's going to be Wolverine, of course, obviously. It's going to be
Right.
Marvel Token fighting game, of
Hmm.
course, obviously. But that's only 3 games,
It's
right?
a lot of Marvel. It's
Yeah.
2 Marvel things.
Yeah.
Imagine they show Tokon, Wolverine, and they show the Venom game.
Oh, maybe the Venom game. Yeah, maybe that could be
3 Marvel things in this showcase.
Yeah.
That'd be so silly.
But they wouldn't do the theater experience just for those 3. So
Yeah.
there has to be something there, right?
Got to be a big one. There's got to
Yeah.
be a big thing for sure.
Can you imagine if there's not? Wow.
I know, that would be so funny. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for the PlayStation Station, our brand new segment that Byron's going to get annoyed with me at because he doesn't like when I introduce new segments, but I don't care. So here we go. Over to you, Locke, for your second story this week. Let's chat about it.
Sure. Well, it's a bit of a personal one. Well, not really. So my job was very easy on Monday, but suddenly, um, Colin during the stream kept getting these weird emails. People kept sending him emails from different companies all over the place. And as soon as that happened, he also got a message that his two-factor authentication was disabled, and he got logged out of his PlayStation account. So Colin immediately left the stream, left Dustin by himself, which was funny to me because it's always funny to hassle Dustin a little bit. So that's what I
Yeah.
did. But I think both Dustin and I and everybody else knew exactly what was going on right away because Colin was warned this was going to happen, which is very scary when you think about it. Because a couple of days before, he got a message that this was going to happen from someone, and it did. Now, luckily, Colin has enough connections to kind of sort it out pretty fast because
Yeah.
PlayStation didn't really help him all that much. He went through the normal route that everybody goes to. He contacted PlayStation support. They told him, you're in a queue. You're going to have to wait a week, and then we'll get back to you. We'll call you back. The weird thing is the person who did this knew all of that and even tried to take advantage of it. And so Colin, thank God, got into contact with Greg Miller and some other people and managed to get his account back right away.
Yeah.
But the days afterwards, it became clear how these people did this and how they worked their way into Colin's account. And it's stupidly easy because the only mistake that Colin made, literally the only mistake, was in October of 2024. He uploaded a couple of games he bought on Twitter, and he uploaded the receipt on Twitter,
Hmm.
like with the date and just the game that he bought and then the price that the game was. That's it. No other information. But apparently, if you call PlayStation support with information like that, you can, and you have, of course, a little bit more information that we can't talk about, of course, in the open, because otherwise everyone can do it. But if you
Hmm.
have that information and some more information, you can basically take control of anyone's account at this point,
Yeah.
whether they have two-factor authentication or not, which is very worrisome. Now, I do feel like there's a bit of nuance to it because there's of course a lot of fear mongering too. It could technically happen to anyone, but also not. Like if you're careful and you don't put all your info out there, technically you should be somewhat fine. I feel like, but also
Yeah.
maybe not. So we don't know for sure. So take that with a grain of salt, of course.
Yeah.
But Colin, thank God, got his account back. Because of his contacts at PlayStation. Otherwise, he would just be as screwed as everybody else is.
Yeah.
So the problem right now is PlayStation knows this, Colin knows this, the audience at LSM knows this, everybody knows this, and nothing is being done. So this is still going on to this day. The hackers are still hacking, or it's not really hacking, it's more like social engineering. Like they
Yeah.
find out personal stuff about you and use that to get into your accounts. The people doing this use the accounts, they basically sell them. Or in Colin's case, I think they did this to Colin just to mess with him a little bit.
Yeah. Which is
Um,
so like I can't imagine being so stupid to like you're gonna go after someone who's like known for being outspoken and vocal about things. Like you're
yeah.
just gonna draw attention to yourself. Things like this only work when you do it on the sly.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a little bit what's scary about it to me because they don't seem to care.
No,
Because
no.
you'd think that after all this went down and Colin put out the episode early and put out his tweet and everybody
Yeah.
retweeted it.
I just listened to it yesterday. I finished the whole thing because I was like,
Oh,
I gotta listen to this and hear
nice.
this whole story.
That was a very good segment, of course. He
Hmm.
did great. But you think that those people who did this would be like scared right now. But they're not. Because
No.
yesterday, what happened yesterday, I don't know if you noticed. Yesterday they did something else. They messaged basically a lot of Colin's friends on
Oh yeah, I
PSN.
did see that. I saw that. I heard about that. Yeah, yeah.
And what they did, Colin is Colin has his name starts with a small L, and if you capitalize the I, it looks like a small L. So they
Hmm.
basically cloned his name that way. or it made it seem like they cloned his name that way, and he used that name to message a ton of people. Again, there's no benefit to doing that except to
Yeah.
mess with someone.
Yeah.
So
I saw it in the Facebook group, people posting screenshots of it. Yeah.
yeah. So the problem is that this is clearly a targeted attack towards Colin. It's not like to sell his account, or it's not like to do anything else. It's just people messing with him and with the audience and with everyone involved. That's the scary part of it to me. Like, there's no ransom being asked. There's no, we're going to sell your account. There's no monetary value. It's just, haha, we're going to mess with you.
Yeah.
It's over right now, or at least it appears to be over for now. PlayStation restored his account. It got flagged, of course. Everything is fine, but you never know what the next thing is going to be. So a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of podcasts, everyone should be talking about this, but almost nobody is, which is weird. Like, the major outlets aren't really talking about it. Push Square published it. Very nice of them, but I think they might be the only ones who did it. I think
Kotaku did, right? I think your article here is from Kotaku.
Kotaku did publish it when it happened, but they didn't publish it afterwards. So they didn't publish.
Okay. No follow-ups.
Yeah, exactly. So they just published that Colin lost his account, but not that he has it back, or how they did it, or which is an important part of it, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think Mystic Ryan made a whole segment about it yesterday, which was good, but I think that's about it. So Colin is asking everybody, he put out a tweet yesterday asking everybody to, if you're on a podcast, if you're working in an outlet, if you have anything to do with games media, to bring it up and to put it under a microscope so that Sony knows that it can't get away with this.
We're small, but it was definitely, if you didn't put it there, it would definitely been a topic to discuss for sure. Yeah, it's terrible what happened. Just as a baseline, we've all had issues, things like that. I think my EA account got stolen one time by some Russians, and I had to get that back, and it was pretty easy to get it back. I don't know how they got it in the first place, but it's. I couldn't believe when I heard the story of like how easy it was to just take control of something, and I'm mostly a physical game buyer, so I don't even have that big of a library of concern. My concern would also have been like the history, of it.
Sure.
It's my account and my trophies and all that stuff. Like I like to buy my games physically. I've got stacks of them, so like that. I just couldn't imagine being someone who'd invested thousands of dollars into buying stuff, and all of a sudden it's just gone, and you're gonna have that kind of heavy investment into an ecosystem, and to not feel like they care about you, to lose all of it so quickly, so suddenly. I don't. It's a nightmare to me. I don't think you'd hear this kind of story about Steam though. Like I feel like there are companies that handle things better, that take things more seriously than Sony does, and I don't know why. Sony's the biggest company of the gaming ones, in terms of users. They should be more careful with this sort of thing.
Because that's the real story here, right? Okay, everybody can get hacked or social engineered or whatever, but the important thing is here, he only got it back because he went through his connections. Like if he had to go through Sony's regular route, he wouldn't have gotten it back by now. This happened before to other big players in the Sony ecospace. Like this happened to I think one of their biggest trophy hunters, I want to say, a couple of years ago in 2024, and he got his account back eventually, but he retired. Like he also said, like, this can't happen again. I'm not going to risk it again. So he retired, and now it happened to their biggest US player, I want to say, maybe Colin or Greg. So hopefully they do something about it this time. It's very weird that there's been no statement, no nothing. It's been a week that it happened, and we haven't heard a peep from Sony, which is very, very weird.
But I mean, it's like we said earlier, Sony doesn't speak with confidence. They don't really speak at all. Like they just kind of sit there and they take it on the chin because they know that it's not gonna. At least so far, it hasn't hurt their business.
Yeah. But what do you think they're gonna do? Do you think they're gonna sweep it under the rug and just never mention it, or?
I think there's a good chance of that happening, but I also think there's zero chance of Colin letting it go. So it depends on who has the more iron will, who's gonna fight the fight longer or ignore the in the case of Sony longer. But what is the solution is really what it comes down to. Like, how do you solve it? Like, do you you make it harder to get access to the account, but you have to be able to give people access to their account if they lose access somehow. So it's a tricky balance. This is the kind of thing that you like. I mean, you hire companies, security companies, to figure this sort of thing out. Like,
Mhm.
they need to hire the Booz Allens of the world or whatever, like the companies that focus on the
Yeah.
infosec kind of thing, and sort it out, because it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. I mean, I'm not going to leave PlayStation because I'm invested in the ecosystem, but I don't feel secure there. I don't
Yeah.
feel like it's safe to have my account right now, unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, granted, I'm a small time podcast guy with who writes for a smaller website. Like, I don't think I'm going to get targeted, but you never know, and that's the scary
Of
part. Is you
course.
just never know.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. It could technically happen to anyone.
Yeah,
Although, yeah, again, the little nuance I personally have, they won't like me saying this, I feel like, but the only nuance I personally have with this is if there is no information about you out there, right?
yeah,
Like if they don't know your real email address, if they don't know your PSN name, if they don't know what games you bought or are playing, there's not a whole lot of info they can use
yeah.
against you. But
The fun thing for me, maybe not fun, but the nice thing for me is the email address I have attached to Sony. It's not attached to anything else anywhere. I don't use it for
smart.
anything else.
Yeah, smart.
Um, so it'd be pretty hard to figure it out, because I don't think I've entered it anywhere. Like, it's not, I don't say it anywhere. It's just it just happened that way because Sony wasn't playing well with like Hotmail at one point in time or
Yep,
something, and
true.
I just switched it to a different one, and then it just stays there. And I honestly, that leads to problems because like I got invited to the beta for Hunter's Gathering, and I like didn't check
Oh.
that email, so I didn't see the email through.
Damn.
But that's okay. I'll take account security over a playtest for
Yeah.
a game.
Especially Hunter's Gathering. But yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
But yeah, my best goes out to Colin and this situation. I'm glad that it works, and I hope that we end up with a solution to this, and we can figure it out, because I don't want anyone to get anything stolen. And it's just going to get worse in the AI world, where everyone when the AI is
Yes.
just constantly bombarding the system with passwords and breach attempts, that sort of thing. That's the scary part.
That is really scary. Yeah. It's also, yeah, it's the PlayStation has to do something about this and has to do something
Yeah,
fast.
they do.
That's the only solution here that works, right? Like
Yeah.
I can imagine they're still sweeping this under the rug, but I don't feel if
We'll
nobody
see.
reports on it, then good for them, I guess. But we'll see. Yeah,
That's what we're here for. We're doing the Lord's work.
yeah, we're fighting the good fight. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to our last news story this week. This one is mine. In an interview with the game business, Hasbro CEO Chris Cox uh, shared that since 2018, the company has invested $1 billion in video games, none of which are live service games. 2027's Exodus will be the first of these investments to see a release. And this interview comes shortly after the revelation that Stig Asmussen's game, uh, sorry, am I scrolling his word? Stig Asmussen's Giant Skulls D&D game has been nixed nearly in early development. One of the more interesting pieces from the interview is this quote from Cox, which is, "You can invest $100 million to build a really great mobile game or a really great games as a service like a shooter. And the upside is that you make billions and billions. But how many people achieve that upside? It's very low single digit percentages, if even that. The downside is you don't make anything back, and it's basically a wash. If you look statistically, that's dangerous because it's a creative enterprise. But if you invest a fair amount of money and give a fair amount of time to a talented team, you do a more traditional game. To do a more traditional game, you probably won't make billions, but your chances of making your money back is much higher. And even if you fail, you're probably making 50, 60, 70 cents on the dollar back. So when we just looked at the risk reward equation of that and we looked at the design sensibilities, we have, frankly, the kind of games we like to play. And I'm more of a traditional gamer. We felt that to be the safer route. I just want to say that that's a brilliant thought thing. Like that, like what a crazy idea. Make some of our money back instead of needing to make all of the money in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's duh. Like that's just duh. That's the most duh thing I've ever heard of in business. And the problem is most people who are in business don't think of the duh. They think of the money.
Of
You
course.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a fascinating perspective that someone in charge of Hasbro, and I don't want to say Hasbro does great things. Hasbro has some, some bad stories about them, and obviously
Yeah.
the Baldur's Gate relationship with Larian was contentious,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
and they have had some issues. Are you familiar with the Dragonlance series of
Oh
novels or
yeah.
the
Yeah.
D and
Of
D world?
course. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Of course.
Dragonlance is my favorite fantasy world. I love Dragonlance.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
And I've read like 20 books in the series. Like I've read a lot of their stuff, and they had the creators of Dragonlance, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, actually had to sue Hasbro over something a few years back because they
Mm.
had been given the rights to like write a new series, and then they tried to pull it from them, and
Oh
then they
wow.
won. They ended up settling and won, and they published that new series of books. I haven't read it yet, but
Oh wow.
um, they did win that suit. Like let me like this is how big of a Dragonlance fan is. I have this
Oh
super
wow. Cool.
yeah, I have this limited edition Chronicles hardback release.
Wonderful. Oh wow. And
Yeah,
you still haven't seen Lord of the Rings or read Lord of the Rings. How's that
I know.
possible?
I know that's my and like that is my fantasy. That's my Lord of the Rings equivalent, like
Yeah.
for me. Um, so yeah, Hasbro has some problems, but it's nice to see that they're investing in traditional, games that people like you or I would enjoy playing.
Mhm.
They're not forgetting about the people that have the money to spend on the games that, are going to
Sure.
buy multiple games over and over instead of just give two, three, four, $500 for these live service games.
Yeah.
And I think it sucks about the Stig Asmussen game being canceled, but better to cancel it in early development if it's not shaping up than invest more and more in it.
Yeah.
And from everything I read, the Stig's team is still good. Like they're like, yeah, we're just pitching new games. Like we get it.
Yeah.
We didn't hit the mark here. All good. Which is probably the
True.
best outcome of a cancellation like that. But what do you think?
I think it's so funny. You brought it up earlier, Baldur's Gate 3. I think that's the big elephant in the room here because Hasbro wouldn't have said any of this if it wasn't for Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like.
Probably not.
They got extremely lucky with that game. And if it
Yeah.
wasn't for that game selling millions and millions of copies, I bet they wouldn't have said any of this.
Yeah.
Because of course they made their money back with that one.
And
But
then
that's like
some.
exactly. But that's a very unique case. So of course other publishers are looking for like the next Fortnite. That's what PlayStation wants to do, right? That's why they're
Yeah.
investing in live service games. Because that's where the money is. Like you Rockstar can make its money back from working on GTA 5 and then selling all these skins and people still buy GTA 5 to this day. Red Dead Redemption 2, same thing. Sony, I feel like, is probably gonna make a loss on Intergalactic unless they do some components, some online component or live service component to it. Like these games cost so much money these
Yeah.
days that it's almost impossible to recuperate what you're putting into it.
It's all about
So
budgeting. You just have to budget
yeah,
correctly.
yeah, exactly. That's very true. That's very true. But I feel like they got so lucky. And it's not even because of them. They just got so lucky with Baldur's Gate 3
Hmm.
that this is a very easy quote in hindsight of them to like bring up or to say. But
Yeah.
I wonder what the feeling or what the sentiment would have been if that wasn't the case. Because
Yeah.
they would probably be chasing their Transformers live service game or whatever they were going for before. I do
You know what
love
it
it though.
reminds you know what it reminds me of though? It reminds me of when Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order did well for
Mhm.
EA and they were like, "Oh wait, people buy single player games and we can still
Yes.
make money."
Yeah.
And then that's when they like tried to they let Dragon Age swing back to be a single player game, but they did it too late and
Yep.
they ruined it. And despite I do love the Veilguard for certain aspects of it, I have major problems with other aspects of it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's it's just like that. It's like you have that one success, and it's like, wait a second, we forgot that money comes from multiple places. Different business styles work. We don't all have to do the same thing.
I think it's funny because I think this generation is kind of cooked because of all
Yeah,
those live service games. We brought it up before. That's how Avowed started too. That was
yeah,
also supposed to be a live service game. It was
yep,
supposed to be a Skyrim mixed with Destiny. So I think what we're seeing now is the decline of that generation, which I'm very happy about. So I think next gen, or not even next gen, I think this gen still, we're not going to see that nonsense anymore. We're just going to
I
see
hope
single
so,
player
man.
games. Yeah, there are single player games, which like you said, it's all about budgeting. If you make a single player game from the start, you don't need a whole multiplayer department attached to it
Yeah.
either, and it's much cheaper to develop. So,
Yeah, I mean, Warhorse, Kingdom Come, they made their money back in like a
yep,
day.
yep, perfect example.
It
Exactly.
is. It
Yep.
is. You know what? I am going to say I don't know this. I'm going to say that the Blood of Dawnwalker is going to make their money back in a day. I think
Yep.
that their team, and granted, these are
Yeah.
Eastern European teams. The budgets are different. The costs are different.
Yeah.
But
True.
even still, like that's about budgeting. You know that you can afford certain amounts of money because of where your staff is located. Then you have to budget for that. And if you have your entire studio in California, the most expensively, the outrageously expensive place in America, maybe the world, maybe probably not the world. I think that's Macau, actually. But anyway, one of the most expensive places in the world. Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of money, and it's gonna take a lot of money to make the money back. So you have to
Yeah.
budget according to where you are and who's building the game, and otherwise you're gonna end up in that scenario where you know spend $3.6 billion to buy a studio like Bungie and don't make the money back because
That
you're
is.
investing a lot of money in a game or in a studio. It's just you gotta be careful with that sort of thing.
Well,
I remember I heard you on I think you were on Defining Duke and you said you don't like the term Eurojank anymore. You're not
yeah.
crazy about jank as a term. And honestly, I kind of think you're right because some of these Eastern European games they're not bug free, but nothing's bug free, and they're
Yeah.
really good. They're really good lately.
They're the best. I feel like they're the best games out there right now. Like you said, like Blood of the Dawnwalker. Of course, GTA 6 is going to be the juggernaut. Nobody gets
Sure.
around
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah,
But apart from that, I feel like this year, like yeah, Blood of the Dawnwalker is going to be huge. There was one more thing. I think
Gothic remake coming out.
Gothic remake is going to be another big one. I feel like there's more of that. With Stalker 2, even though people were like a little bit iffy on that one, but Stalker 2 fits in that demographic too. I feel like
Yeah.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2,
Hmm.
Baldur's Gate 3 was a Belgian game too. Like
Yeah.
it's. I feel like the US where the talent used to be, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. Like Exodus is probably going to be amazing. Diablo
Oh
4
yeah.
was also amazing. So there's still talent there, but I feel like the big studios that we know from our childhood that were the big quality storytellers like BioWare,
Yeah.
Obsidian, I feel like those have declined so much that they're
They
not really seen as the quality studios they once were.
they've declined, and I think that to the extent they haven't declined, they've priced themselves out of relevance, the
Yeah.
cost of working there. The other one you're probably thinking Alcat. Obviously, we're going to talk about Alcat a lot in a
Yes.
second.
Yes. Exactly. Yep.
You know,
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see where the Western world in development goes because the budgets are so crazy, but you're setting this high standard for games. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Intergalactic's going to be. I'm not the biggest Naughty Dog fan, but I'm sure it's going to sell well. But is it going to sell well enough to make back the budget that they've probably put into it? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully.
That's the
I don't
question,
want.
right?
I never want the companies to lose money on their games. That's never something I'm hoping for. Uh,
I think the biggest mistake so far in that regard is Bungie, of course, right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Unquestionably.
I don't know what your take on it is, but after what happened with Destiny 2 and what they said that Destiny 3 is not in development, I can see them closing them down within the year.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bungie got shut down. I mean, it's
No,
Bungie's like the slippery eel that manages to sneak away somehow. Like they're always,
that's
I mean, they
true.
left Microsoft completely when they were fully owned. They were never owned
Yeah,
by Activision, but they were in a partnership, but they bought themselves out of that partnership. Like,
yeah,
they're a slippery eel somehow. They get away from the owners and controllers, but maybe Sony's the end of the line for them because they just don't know how to manage their budgets and whatnot. And I've never played Marathon. I'm not a big multiplayer shooter guy, but it doesn't sound like it's got enough people in it
no,
to survive and to make
yeah.
the money. I don't know. But
Marathon players are very defensive, which is normal. If you like a game, you get
yeah,
defensive of
of
it. But
course.
they see the writing on the wall as well. Like this is
Yeah.
not good, especially not after what happened this week. Like no Destiny 3, Destiny 2 closing down.
Hmm.
They only got Marathon now. That's that doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a
Yeah.
success story right there. Yeah.
Ah, well, let's move on to our next segment here and what we're playing. Mentioning Alcat. I'll let you start first, but I'll be talking Alcat a little bit here. So you jump
Wonderful.
in first, and then I'll take over. What have you been playing,
Wonderful.
Locke?
Well, the first game I've been playing is a bit. I've been playing a recent game and a game that recently turned 10 years old.
Crazy.
Normally, I don't do Duke, Defining Duke, the
Hmm.
Xbox podcast. Like, normally, I don't do that show. I only do Summon Sign. But Cog was absent over the past couple of weeks because he had some health issues in the family. So I had to take over for him in Duke. And I figured, well, I should at least play an Xbox game while I'm
Yeah.
on this Xbox show. So I figured, okay, I never played Quantum Dream, of Quantum Break. So I figured I'll just play this one and see how it goes, see if I like it. And Quantum Break is a Remedy game, of course. It came out in 2016. It's a game about time manipulation, and it stars a couple of really big actors, at least for video games. Like
Hmm.
Sean Ashmore is the lead, who played Iceman in the X-Men movies, of course. Jack Joyce is played by Aidan Gillen, Game of Thrones, Littlefinger. Dominic Monaghan, Charlie from Lost is in there. Lance Reddick from The Wire is in there. So I figured, okay, this will be a cool game to just play for a couple of hours and screw around in, and then we'll see. But what I forgot about this game is that it's not just a game. Like you play certain segments of the game for like half an hour to an hour. It's basically a Max Payne-esque third-person action adventure. There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of time manipulation, so you can basically bullet stop time, and then bullets get trapped in this little wormhole, and then you press time to go again, and they go. Or you can
Hmm.
freeze stuff in time, freeze enemies in time. It's really cool, but it's really simple. Like, all the gameplay mechanics are pretty simple. But what I forgot about this game when I started playing it is that every couple of hours the game stops, and you basically get like a 30-minute TV show about the characters in the game,
I
which
remember that.
at first I was like, oh no, like I don't have time for this. Like, I have to sit here for half an hour to watch these video game characters come to life. But the fact is that it's really well done. Like, it's really
Okay.
well directed, and they picked. Now, then I realized why they picked actual actors, because you can't do this with like voice actors. The
Hmm.
acting is really good. Like, they play themselves, of course, in the TV show segments, but it's really well done. It kind of reminds me of 24, both in the vibe and the way the way it's shot. The cinematography is also
Hmm. Hmm.
like 24. But what's really cool about it is that your choices matter. So at the end of every chapter, or at the end of every segment, you get the choice between option A or option B. And if you pick option A, the TV show segments is a little bit different than option B. Or different people die, or other people stay alive, or there's a cool little choice and consequence thing they got going here. So it is probably worth it to play through it twice. I only played through it once, but I kind of want to go back and play through it twice. It's
Sure.
a very simple game. It didn't do well. Like, it didn't sell very well when it got released. I
Hmm.
think it's one of those perpetuate 8 out of 10 games, or 7.5 out of 10 games.
Hmm.
I don't see anyone really talking about it or mentioning it anymore, even when they bring up the Remedy verse. Of
Yeah.
course, Alan Wake and then Control, great games, right?
Well, I think its biggest problem was its Xbox 10 like tie. Like it
Yes.
was tied to the Xbox One, which did
Yes.
terribly and has a terrible like no one played it.
Yeah.
I would have played it, but I didn't have an Xbox One, so I never
Well, their
you know.
defense is it's also on Steam, but
I mean, but it
that
wasn't
came
at first,
later.
right? Like
Yeah,
that came later. Yeah.
came later.
So
Yeah,
like when it launched, it was just on Xbox.
yeah,
All the hype around it was Xbox. It was like, oh, it's on Xbox. No one wants an Xbox One, a thing that
yeah.
has to be connected all the time. It has a camera. Yeah.
That's true. So it was stuck on there for the longest time. Well, it still is
Hmm.
technically, because it's not on PlayStation. But it's a very interesting game. I wouldn't say it's like I wouldn't recommend it like highly or anything, but I had a great time with it because I didn't
Good.
expect it to be so emotive. It took me like 20 hours to get through it, which is very long. Like, I looked it up afterwards, and most people finish it in 12 to 13 hours. But I kept reloading for certain segments to see if I could do it differently. So
Yeah. You
it's
took your
it's
time. You didn't rush.
yeah, exactly. I think it's a very interesting game, and I would have loved to see a sequel. Or I would have loved to see more of it. I think it's a shame when games take risks and do something new,
Hmm.
and then they don't get rewarded for it. I think one of the best examples is a game series you already brought up earlier, is the Shadow of Mordor series. Like, those two
Mm.
games did great stuff, and then you never saw it replicate again. Well, because Monolith went under, of course. But
Yeah. And they doomed themselves with their grubby
yeah,
microtransaction approach. that was one of the
That's
reasons
true.
I never played the War. I didn't play War until years later. Was because I knew they
Oh,
were going to be removing the microtransactions. I was like,
yeah.
okay, I'll wait until the patch, and that's when I
Yeah,
played it.
yeah. Yeah, smart. Yeah, not smart of
So,
them, but smart of you. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's another example of two games that are forgotten in time forever. I feel like
yeah,
same as this one, same as Quantum Break. I think it's a great game.
yeah. It had that little resurgence as the Alan Wake 2 DLC, didn't it? Where you play as
Yes, yes,
like the guy, but it's not really the guy, but it's the guy.
exactly. Yeah. So have you've played it or you haven't played it?
I have not played it. I never got to it because it was an Xbox exclusive, and then by the time it came to PC, there's again always drowning in games. There's always something
Yeah,
else to play.
yeah.
So I have not played it. The only thing in the Remedy verse that I've played really is Control. I adore Control. I think Control is
Oh,
phenomenal.
okay.
I'm really excited about Control Resonant.
Yeah,
Uh, Even though it's clearly a shift away from some of the aspects of Control, I still trust them to change it up because they're pretty good
yeah.
at changing it up. So
Definitely. Yeah,
I did not play this one. This is one that I am interested in trying at some point. I did not realize it was that short though. If it is that short, that may be something that I can fit into over a couple of days because
yeah.
I tend to play big long RPGs and stuff, and so finding that short game that I want to play that I can squeeze in, it's like Pragmata that I want to play. It's a short game. I'll get to it soon because
Hmm.
I'm really interested in it. But it's not ginormous, and it's nice to have a not ginormous game on the docket to check out. So
It's a perfect palate cleanser. You know, when I played this, I played it right after I put like 120 hours at the Crimson Desert. That's when I played this, and that was
yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
I have not played Crimson Desert yet because they keep patching. I've literally sat there thinking, like, with my finger over the start button, and then I'm like, they're probably going to patch it. And then the next day they patch it. I was thinking I would
yeah,
try and play it before we had this conversation because I know you played so much of it. And then
yeah,
they patched it yesterday or two
yeah.
days ago. And then on top of that, they were like, oh, by the way, we're going to be adding like the ability to remap controls pretty soon. And I was like, at that point, I'm not going to bother. But I want to show
Yeah.
you. I have the Crimson Desert Collector's Edition
Oh,
Steelbook here.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember I was waiting on the collector's edition for like a month because it took an extra month to get to me.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So yeah,
You're
so I
gonna
have the steelbook here.
you're gonna have a great time with that at the end of the year when it's patched and
I
fully
know,
done. Yeah.
I know. I'll get there eventually. I really will. It's just so
Yeah.
hard to find the time.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. What games have you been playing?
Yeah, so I'll take the next one, and then we'll jump back to you for your new one. So one that I put a little bit of time into this piece, so I'll only speak briefly on it. But let me ask: have you ever heard of the Solasta game series? Have you heard of
Yeah,
Solasta?
yeah. I played it. It's
Did
a
you?
great game. Yeah.
Okay. Did you do the DLC for it?
No, the snowy. What's it called again? The
Ice
snow
Palace. Yeah,
ice
the
palace. Yeah.
Ice
No,
Palace, I think
didn't
is what
play
it's
the
called.
DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I discovered Solasta actually through a YouTube channel that we were both fans of, Mortismal Gaming,
Yes.
and I had never heard of this before, and I have been trying to expand my cRPG cred, my cRPG history, because I really
Mm,
hadn't played too many of them, and this one looked pretty cool, and I knew that they had a sequel coming out, and it went on sale for like $30 for the complete edition, like all the DLC and everything. So last
yeah.
year I went and I played Solasta, Crown of the Magister, talked about it on this show and whatnot. And I loved it. I was like, this was great. This voice acting is the worst voice acting I've ever heard in the game, but the game itself was really cool, and I really liked the storyline of it.
Yeah.
And Solasta 2 looks amazing.
Yeah. Big step up.
Yeah, huge step up, and a step up in the voice actors too. Ben Starr
Yeah.
and the voice of Lizelle from Baldur's Gate, who I'm blanking on her name, Devorah Wild is her name.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, some and Amelia Tyler for the narrator as well from Baldur's Gate. Yeah, so they
it's
got some big
amazing.
names in Solasta 2. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do early access for Solasta 2, but I might as well do the DLC because I bought it all. So I started
Yes.
the the Ice Palace DLC here, and I mean it's just more Solasta 2. Like sorry, it's just more Solasta, which is great because that's what I was looking for. I was expecting more Solasta.
Sure.
And it's still like I don't think they really changed how it plays or how it feels. The story is interesting because it's a continuation of the ending of the first game or of the original
Oh,
base game.
okay.
Because
Yeah.
you're playing as your same party. It's you're instead of levels 1 through 12, they actually have you go from 12 through 16. I think you can.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, they increase the level cap.
Hmm.
So you get, super strong, and I'm gonna start getting all these really crazy spells. So I haven't
I like
put
that.
that
Yeah.
much time into it because I got access to the game I'll talk about once you talk about your next game in a minute here.
Hmm.
And I wanted to jump in and try that because again, trying to expand my cRPG horizons, I jumped into this one when I was given an opportunity. But yeah, Crown of the
I
Magister DLC is really really cool so far. I'm pretty much done with the next one that I have on the list here. So that'll be like my main thing is the DLC for Solasta here. Is it's
nice.
almost June. I'll be heading to Summer Game Fest the first week of June, and then also
Mm.
you don't know this about me, Locke, but I am a ginormous Yakuza fan. Uh,
Oh, okay,
like a
cool.
like huge Yakuza
Hmm.
fan.
Nice.
I I have the platinum trophies in most of the games.
Wow. Okay, diehard fan. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are, which are, notoriously some of the most intense platinums, but I have scheduled my life around playing Yakuza games once every 6 months
Oh,
when it's a new game for the
damn.
last decade, basically.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
I was so far behind, I played none of them, so I had to catch up.
Yeah.
And they're very heavy and meaty games. There's a lot of
Hmm.
story. There's a lot going on. So I just spaced it out. I was like, every 6 months, I'll do a Yakuza game. So I
Cool.
did the most recent game, the Pirate Yakuza, I played in January of this year. And that
Hmm.
meant that when Kiwami 3 came out, I hadn't played it yet. So I'm coming. So that's due in June. So I'll play that in June. And then I will be
Oh,
caught up on Yakuza games for the first
wow.
time.
Hey, that's
Uh,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I have not played. That's next on my list. But right now, it's the last Crown of the Magister DLC. If you bought the complete edition of it when you played it, I would recommend trying trying the DLC for it because it's pretty
Sure.
cool.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Did you? Yeah.
It was basically Baldur's Gate 3 without story or without the good without the production value of Baldur's
Yeah,
Gate
with
3,
no
I should say.
production value. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. It's the
Yeah.
zero production value Baldur's Gate 3, but still fun.
Yeah,
It goes into what do you like about cRPGs, and we'll talk about that as our wild card segment actually.
sure.
But if you like
Yeah.
the combat of cRPGs, this is it. This is exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly
So
it. Yeah. I'm very, very jealous of your second game though that you'll talk about because that was
yeah,
the
yeah. Let's hear your other game first, and then
sure.
we'll jump into mine.
Sure. Well, my second game is Lego Batman, which is kind of weird for me
Okay,
because I'm not big into the Lego games. I always feel like they're for kids,
sure.
which they are technically, which they are.
Yeah.
But I'm like everybody, a huge Batman fan. So when I saw the trailer for this one, I was like, okay, I'm getting this one. Of course, I played the other Lego Batman games and even played DC Villains, and they were fun. They were
Hmm.
cool. But my problem with Lego games is always that they always spoof the stories that they're based on, and they do a good job. But you never really get like an emotional thing in return, right? Because
Hmm.
it's like parodies.
Yeah.
But what they did here is, I think, brilliant because it's the only game since the Stick of Truth, like since South Park: The Stick of Truth, that made me laugh with an original story that's basically a parody of a lot of other movies and games and stories. Because what Lego Batman does, it takes little segments out of other Batman games and other Batman movies and even other movies in general, and forms its own story with it. It's not a spoiler. It takes place at the very start of the game. But for instance, at the very start of the game, you meet Ra's al Ghul, and he's played by Liam Neeson, just like in Batman
Love
Begins,
it.
which is well, it's not really Liam Neeson, of course, but
Yeah.
it's somebody mimicking the voice of
Right.
Liam
Yeah. Yeah.
Neeson.
Yeah.
But his voice lines are from Taken, the movie Taken, which is so funny to me. Or Talia Al Ghul is also there, and she has a French accent because the
Right.
actress who
Marion
played her.
Cotillard.
Exactly. So it's filled with little details like that that are so fun for like adults. So it's the gameplay is very simple. It's mostly Arkham again. If you play it on hard, it's basically just another Arkham game, which is very cool but very simple by now, right?
Mhm.
Like you attack, you jump over people, or you counter, and that's basically it.
Does it feel good? Does it feel as good
Yes,
as Arkham? Because I've only
it
played Arkham Asylum, but it felt great.
it literally feels like an Arkham game. Like it
Nice.
literally feels it's that's why I think Maddie coined the term, so I can't steal it, but he came up with this, and it's more like a Batman Lego game than a Lego Batman game.
Oh, that's clever.
Because it is basically an Arkham game. And the story in this game is what really got me. The story is original, but also emotional and
Hmm.
also well told and well acted and fun. And um, you basically get to go through the entire city of Gotham, meet most of the notorious villains, but also get a little background on the villains. Why are they who they are? How did they get
Yeah.
there? And it's still funny. It's still done in a funny way. But I
Hmm.
feel like if you've seen every Batman movie, this game gives you everything that you could have wanted from this game. Like,
Nice.
one scene is from Batman Begins, and then the next scene you can see, oh, that's from Batman 1989. Oh, this is Batman Returns. Oh, this is Batman Rising, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so well done. It's so incredibly well done. And even the gameplay itself, like, of course, the whole game is about collecting studs still. So you break everything and you just, like,
Yeah.
the little thing goes up. But it's so much fun to play. It's a delight. It's a charming, delightful, adorable game.
How long is it?
I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm about, let me check. I think I'm about 6 hours in. And I
Okay.
want to say I'm maybe one third of the way through, I want to
All
say.
right. Not too bad.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I've never actually played a Lego video game. They've never really appealed to me either. I was never really a Lego kid. Never,
sure.
not my thing. So,
Yeah,
and I'd always heard about how they just like spoof the stories of things, and
they do.
it
Yeah.
just not didn't really appeal to me. But this one just looked like it had a spirit about it. It looked like
Yes,
it had
exactly.
more love put into it
Yeah.
than jokes
Yeah.
than that sort of thing. And I like Batman a lot. I haven't seen all the Batman movies, but I've seen the Nolan trilogy and some of the 80s ones and whatnot. So that maybe I'll check this one out. It was one that I was like, it wasn't on my gotta play list. It wasn't on my like GTA 6 or Blood of Dawn
Sure.
Walker list. It was on my like, if I have time, I'll check it out.
Sure. Well, to give you a comparison, I it's in my top 5 of this year for sure.
Oh
So
wow.
so far, and I wasn't expecting that
What's
at
your other
all.
top five? What's your top five? Let's hear.
Number 1 is Crimson Desert. Number 2 is Requiem. Number 3 is Lego Batman. Number 4, God, I told this list earlier to someone. What other games came out this year? Number 4 is,
Pragmata.
I didn't play that one, and I also
Oh,
didn't
okay.
play Ceros.
Monster Hunter Stories 3. We know your JRPG love,
that's
right?
a big one for me. Yeah. No, I don't remember, but it's my
That's
number 3 this year.
yeah, that's great.
So far, it's gonna change, of course, because Blood of
Mhm.
Dawnwalker, Control, all those games are Black Flag. They're all gonna
Yeah. Oh,
surpass
the
these
Black
games.
Flag. I'm so excited for Black Flag.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
Me too. But I'm also very excited about your next one. Very excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you for sharing Lego Batman. It has piqued my interest more. So maybe it's risen up on my maybe list a little bit. I'll see about it. Lego sale, maybe wait for like a sale or something
Sure.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, so my last one for this week is Warhammer 40K Dark Heresy closed beta. Yeah,
Mm.
so I've not played any of the Alcat games before. I'm totally new to Alcat's games, but I am extremely excited for the Expanse of Cyrus Reborn. I've read the first 2 books in the Expanse series. I'm in the middle of the third book. I have not really seen the show either. Like I saw this game and it looked so good. And I was like, I got to read these books then because I want to play this game. And so I decided to get into Alcat's games because I was like, let me at least give them a shot. Let me test the waters here. And
Sure.
I was thinking about buying Wrath of the Righteous, the Pathfinder game that they made.
Yeah.
But this game happened to fall into my lap because Season Gaming, the website that I write for, got a PR email saying, does anyone want to check out Warhammer 40K Dark Heresy's closed beta ahead of time before it's available to the people who pre-ordered it? And I said to Ains, the editor-in-chief of the website, founder, I said, yeah, I've been meaning to check out Alcat's games. I'll give it a shot. So I dove into this game. This game is bananas. um, as someone
Nice.
who has zero experience with Warhammer 40K, but who has an understanding of it because I'm interested in the lore, so I've like read some of the lore stuff, but not anywhere like
Sure.
I don't have any expertise in it whatsoever. Um, there's a lot here. There's a lot in this game. It's very much dedicated to the Warhammer lore. You play as an acolyte to the Inquisition. The game opens up the beta opens up after the prologue. So in the prologue, you apparently make a really big choice that someone can die in. And
Mm.
you open up and you're like being brought up for trial because you chose the choice that someone dies in.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. And then you basically are just told. you're free to go. You got to do this task for me because I'm protecting you. Go and investigate stuff. Investigate A or investigate B. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go with B because B sounded more interesting to me. So I went to investigate B. And in the investigation, you're playing a cRPG. It is a turn-based tactical cRPG.
Nice.
Um, I think I played this game for 3.5 hours before I got into any combat. Like it was a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
running around, a lot of
Yep.
talking to people. There's no voice acting in the closed beta, but they have said that the voice acting will be in the game at launch. It's not like a post-launch thing like they did for Rogue Trader. This
Yeah.
is the follow-up to Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. It's not a sequel. It's a spin-off or not. It's like a side game. It's not.
Yeah.
They're in the same universe. They're going to be nods to Rogue Trader from what I've heard, but they're not
Yeah.
connected. You don't need to play one to play the other. And if you have ever wanted to be an acolyte in the Warhammer 40K universe, this is it. This is what it is. I've got. So Steam says I've put 20 hours into the beta. I let it sit for a while, so I know
Oh,
it's not
nice.
20. I probably put 10 to 12 hours in, something like that. I'd have to check the save file to tell you exactly how many. But I put a
Nice.
lot of time in. A lot of that is just exploring because it's. You've played Alcat's games, Lock, is that right? Have you
All of
played
them.
their?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
So my understanding from not having played them is there's they're old school. They don't tell you
Yeah.
what you're doing.
No.
You're on your own.
Yep. They're very old
I
school.
didn't realize that at first. This is intense, and because this is an investigation game, you are literally investigating things. You have inquisitorial cases, and you have to solve cases, and go along and talk to everyone and ask all the right questions. And there's a whole like spider web of evidence that you have to piece together and like make your correct
Awesome.
deductions and conclusions. I don't think there's the space fighting that was in Road Trader in this one. I
Sure.
think you're very much on the ground here, but it is exactly what people who like Road Trader are gonna want in a sequel, as long as you don't want the space combat.
Oh, that's
Ask me
music.
questions because I don't really even know where to go from here. I'd talk about it because this is out of my wheelhouse.
Well, first of all, the most important question is: did you like it? Did you like what you played? As someone who hasn't played the other games.
I liked what I played. I do not know if I would play the full version of this game because I don't have the 40K experience and interest, and there's a lot to learn.
Okay.
If this was in a universe that I was more familiar with, I would be so down for this. I'd be in all the way. I may pick it up and play the full game when it's out, maybe, but I don't know that for sure because there's so many other things. But if this was like a Dragonlance universe, for example, or even the Lord of the Rings universe where I have more familiarity with what's going on in there, I would be so in all the way because this is awesome.
In Decade, it's extremely easy to recommend Rogue Trader because Rogue Trader basically eases you into the 40K universe.
This doesn't ease you into anything. This drops you in, and I mean,
figured,
like I think the first thing that you read is a sentence about the Tyrann cabal or something.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many terms like they don't have engineers in the game; they have engine seers.
Of
and
course,
like,
yeah. That's
okay.
yeah.
And then there's the God Emperor, which I understand the God Emperor, and then it's like the Golden Throne and the Warp and all of these things. It's so much. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
It's one of the best universes out there because it's based on Lord of the Rings conjecture and Lord of the Rings characters too, or Lord of the Rings creatures too. Like there's orcs in this game too.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the orcs and the cool thing about the whole lore about the 40K universe is the best example I can always give are the orcs, because the orcs have these flying machines, and the only reason their flying machines work is because the orcs believe it works.
That's so
which
cool.
is really cool. So there are quests where you have to convince orcs that it's not working and everything falls down, and it's the whole thing is based in such incredible, beautiful lore. Like you said, the God Emperor, crazy when you think about it. There's this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but this whole universe is insane. So what you said right now is making this quickly my most anticipated game, apart from Dawn.
You are gonna love it. If you love Warhammer, you are gonna love. I was just talking with someone on Twitter, X, whatever, yesterday, and saying how I had jumped in and was playing it. He was asking me questions. I was telling him as he sounded so excited for it. Like people who love 40K are gonna love this game. It's still it's not finished. I will say it's not finished. It still has
Sure.
work. I had some bugs. I think I'm done. And the reason I think I'm done playing is because I think that the game, I think it's either broken or it's not giving me enough information to tell me what I need to do because I'm at a point
Yeah.
where the quest information is like bring the Valkyrie over to the air defense so that it can be dealt damage. And I'm like, okay, wh where's the air defense? Like, I don't know where I'm supposed to, like, I can't figure it out. It's not,
Yeah.
maybe it's me, maybe it's the game. I'm not sure because I did come across a bug that was actually a game breaking bug that you had to reload for where you have a party and you only have 6 members in your party, which is cool. I like 6 member parties because
Yeah.
Pillars did that. Pillars one
Yeah.
and two, I think, do 6 members, or
True.
two might have 5, but yeah, do 6 members. But I have 7 party options, and one of them had to stay back. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put you back, and then I moved on, and I was doing this last thing that I was gonna do to close out my play session, and I lost. I had to reload because it's hard. It's a very challenging game,
Sure. Yeah.
and my non-active party member showed up in the rotation
Oh,
and it went to her turn, and I couldn't end the turn, and I couldn't change character. I couldn't do anything because it
typical
was her
Alcat.
turn.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's not good. So I ended up, I just had to reload. And anytime I loaded the game, she would show up in the party. So I had to go back to before I initiated the whole sequence, which was fine. It
Sure.
was just a bunch of cutscene stuff I had to skip over and over. So that was a bug. There's some other little quirks in there, but man, this game is so cool. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love this game.
It's so funny that you say that because that is exactly what I expect from Alcat. All their games are extremely buggy and basically unplayable for the first 2 years after
Yeah,
launch.
this isn't unplayable. I have to say, what I've played was pretty solid.
Oh,
I
I,
so
I, I
far.
I don't mean unplayable in a way that you can't play, but unplayable in a way that you get game breaking bugs. That you're just
Okay.
stuck. You're just stuck forever.
Yeah.
It happened with I wrote Rogue Trader. I bought it at launch. It launched in December 2023. I remember it very vividly, and I loved that game so much. And I played it for like 20 hours, 30 hours, and then game breaking bug. Well, like, oh
Uh,
wow, okay, I'll just start over. Next year, same thing. They released DLC for us. I was okay. I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna do it again. Boom, game breaking bug. Okay, I'll do it again the next year. And then finally in
yeah.
2025, I got all the way into it. But yeah, those games are amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. I'm really excited for, like, this made me so excited for the Expanse even more so because I'm like, this is them
Sure.
going 3D and making like a shooter, a cover shooter. Like that's
Yeah.
gonna be cool. And I'm definitely gonna get into Wrath of the Righteous at some point in time because
Great game.
this was great. Rogue Trader, I'm considering because the universe is fascinating, and I have to say that it tells you it tells you what a rogue trader is in this game because you meet
Yeah.
a rogue trader, and I was like, that kind of sounds cool. That sounds like a more interesting person than an acolyte to the Inquisition, as someone who's
Yeah.
like a special hereditary like person whose entire job is exploring the galaxy. Like, that
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
You're
Like,
basically an explorer. Yeah. You're
yeah,
basically an explorer in Rogue
with
Trader, which
special
is
status
yeah.
from the God Emperor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So this game, I really liked what I played. I'm not great at it. It took me some difficulty. I got stuck on a fight. There was the very first fight that I got into, I think I spent like 2.5 hours trying to do exactly the right way because there was
Sure.
a bonus objective to save a relic, to stop a relic from getting burnt in fire. And
Mhm.
I didn't want the relic to burn in the fire. And you only had 5 turns to do it. And I couldn't figure
Typical.
out what was happening, why I was losing the relic so soon. And it turned out because I have an ability that can deal fire damage to anything that's on fire, including the inanimate object. So
Oh.
I was burning the thing up when I was using that ability, and it was
Yeah.
dying in 2 turns or 3 turns instead of 5 turns.
Sure.
Yeah,
You could probably put it out with water, right? Like if you have a water spell.
I didn't have any water or anything.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe I could have, but it wasn't available at that point. This is like the first fight in the game, so
Oh, okay. Well, but that's the cool thing about cRPGs, right? Like there's always there's always consequences to every action, and if you fail, that's not the end of the game usually.
yeah.
Like that just yeah.
Yeah. Let's move into our wild card topic then, which is
Oh, sure, yeah.
exactly. I mean, just what you're bringing up there. That was a good. I don't know if that was intentional, but it was a good segue into the wild card.
No, it wasn't intentional, but
Yeah. I mean, do you have any other questions you want to ask about Dark Heresy before we move on? Then.
No, I'm so excited to play it. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of you. If I would get the beta, I wouldn't touch it. I'm so scared to
Yeah.
to get spoiled, so I would just leave it until 2 years after launch,
For
and then I'll
sure.
jump in. Yeah,
Yeah, it was just offered to me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot just to wet my toes, dip my toes in and give it a shot. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad.
awesome,
I'm gonna try and write like an impressions piece on it for the website because we got it. And I want to
cool.
give them some coverage and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
sure, cool. Yeah,
but yeah, so let's move into our wild card topic before we close out the show here, and
sure.
let's talk about what do we love about cRPGs because I know you are a ginormous cRPG fan.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the genre, and I'm getting more interested in it as I go and I play. So what do you love about a cRPG just as a baseline? What is it about a cRPG that makes you go, I need to play this game, this type of game?
The beautiful thing about cRPGs is that most games, when you play any game, the promise of the game, most of the time, is always you can do whatever you want to do, you can be whoever you want to be, choices matter, and there's consequences to every action. And it's never true,
Hmm.
right? But in cRPGs, it comes dangerously close to being true.
Yeah, it's more
And
true than it's not.
yeah, and that is because cRPGs are easier to make. That's the simple truth. Like
Hmm.
there's no big open world like in Skyrim, right? Like
Yeah.
there are animations, of course, but it's always from isometric view, or at least the traditional cRPGs are from isometric view. KOTOR, for instance, isn't. It's also a
Hmm.
cRPG, but most of them are from an isometric view. So you'll get to experience stories from a godlike perspective. I want to say almost because
Yeah.
you're up in the skies
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
on the people, and that makes it so that there's a whole lot more possibilities for the developers to have world-changing events inside these games. Like, for instance, like you just pulled up, like you can kill this person can die, or this person comes with you, and that changes the entire game, of course.
Hmm.
And in other games, in third-person action adventures or first-person adventures, that person has to be animated the whole game. So there's a lot of sunken cost in it. But in cRPGs, like Baldur's Gate 3, for instance, if you kill that person, maybe you get another person, and the
Yeah.
animations for that person aren't that hard to animate from a top-down isometric perspective. So there's way more possibilities.
Yeah. Although
Uh,
Baldur's Gate really zooms in, like you can zoom in really close in Baldur's Gate for sure.
that is true. That is true. Baldur's Gate is always the exception to the rule, of course,
It
because the
is.
production cost of that game is insane, of course. But Baldur's Gate 3 is also a good example of where this can happen because no spoilers. Well, a little bit of a spoiler, but everybody knows this. At the start of the game, you have a goblin camp to deal with, and
Hmm.
there's a fly. The game never tells you this. The game never outright tells you this, but you have a choice there. You can team up with the goblins if you want to,
Hmm.
and kill the other camp, and there's nothing stopping you. And that's the beauty of cRPGs. Most of the time, if you think of something, you can do it in a cRPG.
Yeah.
And cRPGs are also party based, which is pretty unique these
Love
days.
parties.
Exactly. Me too. Me too. Which means you get to deal with a lot of personalities. It's not just the main character. It's basically like a JRPG, I want to say almost, where you have like multiple characters, and it's not like a traditional RPG where you just have one main character. And if you happen to not like that main character, you're basically out of
Yeah.
luck for the rest of the game. But in cRPGs, most of the time you play a custom character, bent to your will. The dialogues options are very extensive, so you can most of the time pick whatever you would really say. It's not like in Fallout 4 where there's three options, yes, no, and sarcastic
Hmm.
no. There's like really elaborate options here. I think the best example of a dialogue system that really got to me was Disco Elysium,
Mm.
which is, of course, one of the great cRPGs, even though there's no combat in it. I remember there were sentences in the dialogue options in Disco Elysium where I actively thought I would say this. I would say this in real life. I would pick this option, which is really cool. So that is why, to me, cRPGs are my favorite genre because there's so many possibilities
Yeah.
in it that other genres don't have. But what do you think? This was your first one, your
No,
first
no, no, no,
ever?
no.
Oh, oh,
No, I'm my exposure is 40K was my first Owlcat game, but not my first
okay,
CRPG. So
okay,
my first real exposure into CRPGs, because what actually turned me off on CRPGs was the isometric perspective. I didn't like that as a thing for a
sure.
really long time, but I don't know what made me decide to do it, but I eventually decided I'm gonna jump into Pillars of Eternity. Um,
Mm, of
and so
course.
I did. I jumped into Pillars of Eternity, and I loved it. I
Mm,
was like, this is because it was a little different. It wasn't turn based. It's because it's real time with pause, so it's a
yeah,
little bit different. Um,
yeah.
and my favorite game of all time is Dragon Age Origins. It is number one on my list of all time.
Oh,
And Dragon Age Origins is a cRPG, but
yeah.
I played it on console. So I didn't
Oh,
realize that it was
oh,
like what it was. I played it on
yeah.
PS3. That's where my Origins playthrough was.
Mm,
And the I didn't realize that it was like a port of a game really meant for a computer. So
yeah.
that was it never clicked to me because that is also
Mm,
like a real time with pause game. And so
yeah.
my love of Dragon Age probably helped me get into Pillars because it felt very similar. The style of gameplay feels very similar, except I was playing it from that isometric only and on a computer, style there. So
Of course.
yeah, I ended up really liking the story, and that's what I think I like most about cRPGs is I feel like their stories because they're not putting all of that budget behind the animations all the time, they tend to
Yeah.
have really interesting stories and really, really great worlds.
Yes.
And that's part of why I liked Avowed was because I always wanted to see that Pillars world in 3D, and I thought they really did
Sure.
a good job bringing it into that 3D, even if it ended up coming at the cost of some of the writing and the companions themselves. I thought that was a well worth trade at that moment just to see what Pillars and Aora would look like that. So
Sure.
yeah,
Let me ask you the most important question I
yeah.
can ask anyone. Have you played Baldur's Gate 2?
No, I have not played Baldur's Gate 2. I'm sorry, Lost.
Joe, you are gonna play Baldur's Gate 2.
I, I'm
There's no way
I
around it.
own it. I own the enhanced edition of 1 and 2 on Steam. It's sitting right there. I could install it.
I can guarantee you. I will promise you. I swear it. If you like Pillars a lot, right?
Hmm.
You will and Dragon Age Origins is your favorite game of all time, you said,
It
right?
is. Yep.
I can almost guarantee you, it's a bold statement, but we'll find out at some point, I guess. I can almost guarantee you that Baldur's Gate 2 will become your favorite game of all time. Because
That's a tall order.
it's made by the exact same
I
people
know it
who made
is. I
Dragon Age
know.
Origins.
I know.
And it is basically in the Pillars engine. Like it's not it's the Infinity. They have their own engine, of course, the Infinity engine.
Yeah.
The story and the characters in Baldur's Gate 2. If you liked Dragon Age Origins, which I also adore, it's the perfect example of what we're talking about. Dragon Age Origins, fantastic game, beautiful game, but it could have been just a little bit more if they didn't have to worry about all the 3D animations, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think they did a really nice job on their 3D for the time too,
oh,
given
they
like
did.
what because that's an old game. It's 2009.
Still looks amazing. Still looks
It
amazing.
does.
But like for instance, what they did with Low Gain, for instance, no spoilers, of course, for people who haven't played it, but yeah,
Logan.
exactly. What
Oh,
they did with Low Gain in that game.
I
In
love
Baldur's
Logan.
Gate 2, he would have been a more prevalent character, for instance. Like you would have
Mm,
been able to do more with him.
yeah.
And there is a in Baldur's Gate 2, it's also the characters in Baldur's Gate 2 are still my favorite characters in any game to this day because they're
Mm,
real people. Like they have accents. You know that this doesn't happen. Like Zephron in Origins, like he
yeah.
has an accent.
He does. Yeah.
Or the elves have like Irish accents, and the dwarves have American accents for some reason. I still like that,
Yeah.
but
Liliana's French. Yep.
yes, exactly. Baldur's Gate 2 does that too. And no other RPG does that anymore. Like when you play Dragon Age the Vilgard, for instance, that we both played, everything is the same. It's all bland, it's all good, it's all high production value, but it's all pretty much the same level, right? It's all pretty much the same action, it's all pretty much the same dialogue. Like there's snarky characters, but that's
Yeah. My
basically it.
issues with Veilguard are I feel it was people say it was badly written. I actually prefer to call it narrowly written. I think
Yeah,
it's too narrow because
yeah,
in Origins you have this spectrum of choice of who you can be and what
yeah,
you sound like and you have that all the way even through Inquisition where you can still be a jerk in Inquisition if you really want to. And
yeah.
there's no jerk option in Veilguard. And that means
No,
that each option sounds like just a slightly different twist on the same answer. And that changes
exactly.
how you feel. Even though I'm not going to play the jerk, it means that it doesn't, there's like a lack of authenticity in it. It feels too surfacey.
Exactly.
And that's the issue. Because I
Yeah.
don't think the story itself was really that bad. And some of it was interesting.
Well,
I'm not a fan of what some of the answers ended up being to the questions that were raised, but
exactly. Yeah.
that aside, like it's just too narrow. It's too narrowly written. I felt like I wasn't really getting to be the character, and you
I
couldn't
will.
talk to your companions at will.
Yes.
I hated that. I loved just
Yes.
walking up to Iron Bull and being like, anything new to say, Bull, and he'd be like, nope, the same dialogue. All right, I'll leave.
In Baldur's Gate 2, the characters speak to you, which is even
So cool.
cooler. Like they just stop you while you're doing stuff, and they want to have an actual conversation with you with a million dialogue options.
Oh, I love that.
Um, I have to ask you this because this is what turned me completely against the Veilguard. It's the after credit scene. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That is the stuff that really pissed me off because they're basically this. Well, we'll never see another Dragon Age because
I know.
of that. I feel like
It's funny that you got that because that's a secret ending. That's you don't have to get that after credits ending. Like that's a secret
oh
ending.
okay.
You only get that if you uh three items in the different areas. There's like three separate items, and you have like
Hmm.
that weird voice talk to you. If you don't hear that, you
Yes.
don't get that extra ending.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I that I would have been curious just to see where they were going to go with it. It could have ruined it. It could have destroyed everything,
Yeah.
but it also could have not destroyed everything because we don't know. We just don't know what it was. And
We'll never know. Yeah.
they'd been laying the groundwork for that since Inquisition. In some of the war table missions, they talk about that. If you remember some of the war table
Sure.
missions, they
Sure,
talk
but
about them and those peoples. But yeah, it could have ruined everything. It could have been like, what? No, that's terrible. No, don't do that. No, no, no.
yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, don't you dare! Like, don't
Yeah,
you touch,
don't
you
touch Logain.
exactly? Yeah,
Logain is my favorite villain of all time. Logain is my favorite villain of all
nice
time and everything. I don't think that anyone's been done better than him. I think that his arc is so touching.
because
Um,
he's not really a villain. That's why, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's not.
yeah.
And you know what? Spoilers for an almost 20-year-old game, I guess, but I can't bring myself in a canon playthrough to let Logain die. Logain
Oh
always
no, yeah,
survives.
yeah, yeah. Same.
Always
Yeah,
survives. Always
yeah,
has to. He has to.
yeah.
Have you read the books? Have you read Dragon Age books? The Dragon Age
No,
books are
no.
phenomenal. I've read all the books. I actually
Oh,
have an autographed copy of one of them from David Gator,
oh, nice.
which is really cool. He was moving to Australia and he was giving them away. And I just happened to respond on Twitter quickly enough, and I won the competition of who responded quickly enough, and he sent it to
Wow.
me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
really cool.
I try to stay away from everyone who worked on these games, especially Mark Dara, because they all turn a little bit sour, a little bit bitter as they got older. So I'm like, okay, never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Clear here, but
Did you play Eternal Strands?
that rings a bell. What is that?
It's an indie game from Yellow Brick Games, and it's Mike Laidlaw's studio. Mike Laidlaw, the creative
Oh,
director, it's his
yeah.
studio, and it was a world. It was the one that was all physics based with magic, where you cast magic and the world reacted and the world would burn if you set something on
Hmm.
fire, and you fought these big titans. It was
I have.
indie style, but it was very cartoony. It was really cool. Came out
Okay.
2 years ago, I want to say.
Oh, I've never played it, but is it good? Is it? Do you
It was
recommend it?
really it was good. It's not like great or anything, but it had a really cool story. Like the world was really interesting, and it was really
Okay.
fun. It was a little janky in how because it was very physics based. It was all physics,
Hmm.
where like you would like fight the titans you'd freeze their arms to the floor and freeze their feet, and you'd
Hmm.
melt their weapons, and you'd like burn their wings or whatever. It was
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was fun.
Cool.
It was a solid like 7 out of 10, 7.5 maybe kind of
Okay.
game. I liked it. It was enjoyable for sure. It was
Okay.
on Game Pass, I think, too.
Okay. Well, we have to make a deal. By next time I'll play that game, you'll play Baldur's Gate 2. Deal.
I'll give Baldur's Gate a shot. I will. I'll give it a shot. I'll do it. You know what? I will install it right now on this thing right here.
You can skip Baldur's Gate 1 because Baldur's Gate
I'll
1.
skip one. I'm installing
Okay.
two. Just
Okay.
installing two, right?
Perfect. Perfect.
Just for you, Locke. It's going right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
But yeah, I love cRPGs now. I want to play Divinity because the new Divinities are coming out. I haven't played the Divinity Original Sin games. They're on my list, but I
Great
love
games.
Pillars 1, Pillars 2. Solasta now is up there. I'm really excited for Solasta 2 and Baldur's Gate. Top tier game Baldur's Gate 3 for sure. So my
Sure. Yeah.
taste is expanding on cRPGs, but it's really the stories. The stories in there, and
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of like the combat. I like the turn-based gameplay,
Yeah. It's
and I
fast.
like the real time with pause. Like they're both interesting. They're both they're different spins on it, and they are like siblings. They're like cousins with one another. You know, they're so
Yeah.
closely related. I like how
Hmm.
they made that they gave Pillars 1 a turn-based mode. They just like, you know,
Yeah.
10 years later or 12 years later, they gave it a turn-based mode for some
Yeah.
reason. Like that's so good. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also I love Pillars too because the setting is so different there.
Yeah.
Like
The Pillars lore is
yeah.
fascinating with the
Yeah.
souls and the Aedra and all that. Like
Yeah.
that's so
Very
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Um,
well, they're making Avowed 3, so or Avowed 2, so we'll find out more about it at some point.
I think Avowed 2 could be really, really
I think,
excellent if they
yeah,
started as a single player game and they don't need to, you know, have a
I agree.
reclamation project
Yeah, I
on it.
agree. I agree. That has a lot of potential. I fully agree.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about cRPGs, about your love of cRPGs? Anything that comes to your mind about them?
No, I'm so happy you're. I so happy you like them too. It feel like it's so funny because Baldur's Gate 3 is both a curse and a blessing to the genre. Because
Hmm.
that's when most people discovered them and like, oh, I love this genre. I'm gonna play all of them, and then they go back and they realize like, oh, they're not all of them has the
Yeah.
production value that Baldur's Gate 3
Yeah,
has.
I'm really glad I started with Pillars as my first true introduction, other than Origins.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad I like that really got me into it because it opened my mind. It's kind of I actually credit Dragon Quest 11 with opening my mind to turn-based games. Like I was never really a
Sure.
big turn-based fan other than playing Pokemon as a kid. And then I
Mm,
played Dragon Quest 11. I was like, okay, maybe turn-based isn't quite so bad. This can be fun. And that, you know,
sure.
I've branched out ever since Pillars and Dragon Quest have opened my eyes to different
Yeah.
genres, which you know, I'm an old man
Beautiful.
now, 33 years old. It's like, you know, opening new genres. I don't want my new genres. Give me my Western RPGs.
There's still time. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There's still time.
Yeah. Well, Locke, thank you so much for being here. This was a great conversation. We're a little bit longer than our normal time, but I hope you don't mind you know, hanging
No, it
out.
was fun.
Thank you.
Fun.
Yeah. This is really good. And this is a good wild card conversation. I'd love to have you back sometime. Maybe we'll have
Sure.
we've never had three people on the show, so maybe we'll bring you back when Byron is here.
Oh,
And you can help me convince him that Kingdom Come is better than Expedition 33, which
no problem. Easy.
he just won't believe. He just says it's the greatest game. But he also liked mixtape, and who likes mixtape? Ugh,
Oh, yeah.
mixtape.
No, that says
I
enough.
played
Yeah.
mixtape. It was not good.
Well said.
uh, yeah. So I'm gonna just move into the conclusion here. We're just gonna talk about upcoming games for this week, just to bring up what's big in the next week here. And I just
Mhm.
have two games on the list. If you see any games, if you know of any games coming out in the next week that you want to mention, but right now we have 007 First Light coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC on May 27th, and then Mina the Hollower finally releases on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, Switch, and PC on May 29th. Any other games that you want to call out this week that are coming?
I feel like those are the only two that matter. I'll be
Yeah.
on some of the side, not this week, but next week with Colin, and it's gonna be all about Mina and 007. Those are the only games that are gonna be there.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. So, Locke, where can people find you? Promote yourself. We're small, but any little bit helps. Feel free to, you know, out
Sure.
yourself.
People can find me anywhere on the planet under the same name, under the name Lockmort. I'm on Twitter there. I'm on Discord there. I'm everywhere under the name Lockmort. Last Stand Media. I'm not a host there, but I'm practically every week on a show there or every other week on a show there. And I think that's about it. They can also find me in Belgium if you're ever in Belgium. You can always call me and we'll have a beer. But that's about it. That's where they can find me.
That's great. Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter/X at Joseph_La_Russa. And my writing at Season Gaming is as Don Lionheart. That's my online.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's been my online name forever. So I use that
Nice.
sometimes. But yeah.
Beautiful.
I will have some sort of impressions piece, hopefully, on the Warhammer 40K thing on that site soon. I don't know exactly what I'll say. It'll probably just be a short little thing because, you know, 10 hours into it, this game is huge. Like, it's clearly, I've got one
Sure.
case. I did one inquisitorial case. There's a whole bunch. So,
Yeah,
um,
I
yeah,
can imagine.
you can check that out when it's live. And again, Locke, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time here. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great fun. Well done. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, you know, follow the show, promote the show however you can.
Yes.
Tweet it out, I guess. I don't know. Whatever people need to do, just help us grow. We're really trying here. We enjoy these conversations. Byron and I have a really good rapport. We have a really fun time doing this. And Locke, I appreciate you being here as well.
Of course. Of
You
course.
are our second ever guest, but our first
Mm.
ever full into the show with a camera guest. Because when I was out of
Oh,
town, Byron had his friend come in. He just chimed in for like the What You're Playing segment. So you're the first full
sure.
guest on this show here. So you now have
Wow,
a
what an
special
honor.
place in CrossGen Friend history.
Oh, I'm deeply honored. Thank you so much. No, it was
Uh,
great fun. Great fun.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, thank you, everyone. And remember, whether it's your gen, my gen, or someone else's, friends can be cross generation. Take care, all.